right? But again, it's just what it is. We can't look at our feelings. We have to look at logic and understand that a lot of times when I talk, the women that didn't have certain healthy aesthetics, I meet some women that get in my DM, you know what they say? Yo, my dad was just like you. My dad, and I said, was your dad a strong man? Did your dad carry his family? Yep. Because the truth of the matter is, a man is not built in comfort. A man is built in chaos. A man is not built in comfort. A man is built in chaos. A man has to learn how to be a man in chaos. Trials and tribulations is what help a man become a great man. And any man that doesn't understand that, they haven't reached the full level of manhood.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss.
Why do I always know how to smile at that exact moment?
I know.
Why you can't just be regular when you go to say my name?
And my
Why you
beautiful
can't just say Q the Boss and Shay?
That I adore, that I admire,
thank you,
that I value, and that I respect. That's 5 compliments, no more.
That's a lot.
To Shay Jones is in the building, guys.
That's a lot. Hi guys, happy Sunday.
We here.
We're here. Oh. Jesus.
So let's talk about real fast. What did we do last Sunday?
I was gonna say we had our first live, guys, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was good conversation. We had a nice turnout for
Excellent.
our very first live.
Yes.
We had workers in the place wasn't able to work because they just wanted to watch the podcast. We had the chef coming out watching us.
Yes.
We had the owner
Yes.
and his wife sit down to watch us. The bartender was coming out. So it was really nice. It was nice to see the support. So shout out to you guys, for everybody who, even if you weren't there, you watched and you just, liked or watched it after.
Yes.
Super grateful because it was good. But don't miss the next one.
The lady, the owner's wife actually came to me and was like, you need to, because I guess she comes from a different generation.
Yeah.
And she was like, yo, I'm not going to lie. You need to tell more of these young women. She said, because it's getting bad. She said, I grew up in a generation where women respect themselves.
Yeah.
And I guess, as an older woman, she's looking at it like, for Rosa Parks and all these people to do the things that Sojourner Truths and all these people to get these rights, it's like, damn, what are we doing as women?
What are we doing with that? That's true.
What are we doing? But
and men.
100% the men. 100%. But today's episode, guys, is little boy energy.
That's what it's given.
It's giving little boy energy. We had to do that for Shay. It's giving. That's our word, right?
Why you had to do that for me?
Because it's giving.
It's always given.
Well, what's giving?
That's what it's given.
What does that mean?
It's giving little boy energy is just no emotional maturity,
I like
no
that.
Emotional intelligence,
I like that.
Not able to compose yourself.
Agreed.
I feel like a lot of these men out here want to claim the title of a man, but they act like little boys.
Agreed.
And it's just tiring. I feel like we just have to, as females, we have to deal with it. If we're going to chop, we got to chop on both ends, And I think a lot of times, because men, you want us to be, according to you, my favorite word, submissive. I feel like for us to do that, then we can't do that to little boy energy. A lot of men are not secure in themselves, so they project and they're looking for, someone to raise them. They're looking for someone to just build them up like we building a bear. Yeah. We work for Build a Bear. And a lot of women just don't want to do that. We want a man to come to us somewhat ready. I'm here for encouragement. I'm here for inspiration, but I'm not here to build a man. I do not want a project. I want a partner. And I think that's fair for women to say.
And I'm going to be honest with you, based on what you just said, I'm in 100% agreement because I do believe that a lot of the men nowadays, they lack self-awareness. And what I mean by self-awareness is you can't argue with a woman about not being submissive when you haven't even submitted to your creator for the role of what a man is. Let me say that again. You can't argue with a woman for being submissive when you haven't submitted to your creator for what the role is of a man. The Bible speaks about a man being a provider, right? And a woman submitting to a provider. So a lot of the times when I listen to the men who say women don't submit, I'm like, realistically, women don't submit to you. And the reason why they don't submit to you, because either A, you're choosing the wrong women, or you're choosing women who don't see you as a man. So there are cases where men find the wrong woman who just won't allow them to lead. I've seen those situations. But a lot of times there are men who just haven't built themselves to positioning where a woman sees him as the king that he's truly supposed to be. So therefore, again, you want her to see you in a space that she don't see you. Because reality is, no matter what you dress it up as, the woman still see what she sees. If she see a little boy, she see a little boy. Just what it is. So what do you got going on? What are you thinking, what's going on with these men these days?
I mean, it's very simple. I don't feel like we have a list as women. I just feel like you said, provide and not financially provide. I feel like when men hear that word, they get scared, because I think when a grown woman, a woman who is embedded and stern in who she is, and she has her ish together, is not looking for a man to financially provide for her. Provision, goes a longer way than that, emotionally, spiritually, and of course financially. We're there to do things together, but I don't think it's so much do for me, do for me, do for me. For some women, not all. I can't speak for all. I think, just like I said, that the ability to be able to emotionally reason. A lot of men, they're quick to be very snappy. That's what I'm finding out nowadays. I have friends that are dealing with men that if they say something to them that they don't like, the response is so aggressive and so nasty. And I have a friend who, she says something her boyfriend doesn't like, he's blocking her and not speaking to her for days. And I feel like, what's that about? Those are things that you would expect from a female, not a guy.
This I agree. And the one thing you said the other day, right? You said, Q, one thing I love is how you can control yourself.
Right.
In a heated moment. And I'm like, because one thing I do is I know how to evaluate, is it serious or if it's not serious?
Right.
Right. And if it's not serious, I don't personalize it. It has to be almost pretty much life or death for me to really overreact. Otherwise, I'm just trying to diffuse. And that's the maturity that I think a lot of men these days haven't met that process. Yeah. And it's not that you're a bad man, but you're not really fully a man until you have self-awareness and self-control.
Yeah.
Because a woman yelling and screaming is like, it's a woman. But a man yelling and screaming, I'm more nervous because of the fact that the man can do something physically in most cases. So in my mind, I'm like, I have to be mindful of how I control myself.
Right.
With the sense of knowing that I am a representation of a lot of men that are around me. And just seeing like, yo, you have no self-control. Like, it's like you're going to lose a lot of opportunities, especially as a man, because no one wants to be around that. A lot of men will be more tolerable, and humans will be more tolerable to a woman being upset. But the world is not so forgiving for a man like that. Would you agree?
I agree. I feel like sometimes, even when me and you have conversations and I'll tell you that, I don't care, it's not that I don't care. There's sometimes I'll answer to some of the comments if I see it. I'm sitting right here and it's in front of my face. I think that a lot of times men will even do a personal attack. As we sit here and do this podcast, I know a lot of times that you guys filter out a lot of the comments. I've seen a lot of mean things that people have even said about me. And I feel like men will go to those degree.
100%.
Women, sometimes I feel like we can stick to the point and say, I don't agree with what he's saying. I see the men come on and they'll make fun of my complexion. And so here's a dark skinned woman saying this. And I don't know if I have any more or less right to speak based on the color of my skin. But I feel like that's one of the biggest attacks. It'll be why dark-skinned women don't have a right to an opinion, or they don't have a right to speak. Are we inferior to a light-skinned woman? So when I sit here, what is it that my opinion is null and void because I'm not the skin color to talk? And a lot of times it's Black men that are talking like this. So it's not even men, it's not white men, it's not Spanish men, it's men of my own kind that are putting me down and shaming me for the complexion that I am, sitting here next to Q, giving my own opinion, as Q is a dark-skinned man as well. So it doesn't, sometimes I don't understand. Well, maybe I'm not, so maybe that's what it is.
Say it.
But I just feel I don't think you're sexy.
I'm talking about you.
Say that I'm sexy? No, it's not about that. It's just about what doesn't give me a right to speak because of my color. That's what I see a lot. So when I say it's giving little boy energy, for a man to have to put a woman down to get his point across, that's little boy energy.
Agreed.
That's little boy energy.
But
and
I
a
will
lot
say,
of your male followers like that.
If I cut you off, I apologize. I will say that men nowadays, the low vibrational people in general are people that always feel the need to disrespect, to prove a point. That's low IQ people, right? And the men that do that, they're very low IQ. And the reason why I say that is because emotional intelligence is a part of IQ, right? So if I look at logic, I say, okay, I have to disrespect her because of
Right.
how this conversation is making me feel. That means you clearly don't have the emotional intelligence to understand that you can get your point across. Let's say hypothetically we're having a debate and I don't agree with you. If you've noticed since we've ever been on this podcast, whether you got me hot or not, I've never disrespected you.
I agree.
And the reason being is, one, we're friends, and two, we're just having a disagreement. It's better to what? Agree to disagree. I just don't agree with you. I don't hate you. I don't have a problem with you, right? But at the same time, I can also disagree with you. In the same breath, a lot of them that haven't learned that is because they haven't matured to the point where it's like, yo, we're not in agreement, but I understand your point. Right? And sometimes that's the mature person is the person that can walk away. The mature person is not the one that have to prove the point. When you have to prove the point, that means you have a level of narcissism in you and yourself, whether male or female. Your whole objective is to grow from the encounter.
Right.
So if the objective is to grow from the encounter, it doesn't matter how it's making me feel. It's matter what is the goal.
Right.
So if me and you have a disagreement, our goal is how can we move forward better?
All right.
I'm not trying to prove you wrong. I don't want you to prove me wrong, but let's get to the source and figure out a solution. That's what adults do. Adults are more heavy on problem solving. Children are more about igniting the fire
Right.
because they care about being right. So when I see a lot of boys like that these days, I'm like, that's little boy energy. Where it's like, you just want to be right. You don't care about growing or no one learning, vice versa. It's about growing. How do you grow? Being humble enough to say, this might not be this conversation for me.
Right.
Right? I know how to just walk away from conversations. And the reason why I've learned that is because I know a crash out moment, the Lord's not going to forgive me. As a man, I understand that. So I'm not going to say, and it has to be worth it for me. Otherwise, it's not. Like, again, we've been taught that being soft is knowing how to bite your tongue. I think that's being a man.
But I think also being able to grow is respecting other people's opinions and understanding that two things can be right or wrong at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because we sit here and you're giving your opinion and I'm giving my opinion, it doesn't make one right or wrong. We're two different genders. We live two different lives.
100%.
And I may have my belief and you may have your belief. And again, like I said, just because I don't agree with someone, I don't immediately go to body shaming,
Yes.
gender shaming,
Yes.
physical
Yes.
shaming, because I just feel like that's definitely low vibration. And that's a level of immaturity that you can't come back
100%.
from when you get to a certain age. I'm not in the business of shaming people, but I see a lot of that happening. And I'm just curious to know, why is it that men especially go to those extremities of feeling like you have to shame a woman physically to get your point across? And it's not just me on this podcast, whether it's talking about dark skin, light skin, but in general, when you have arguments with women, it always goes down to she's fat, she's too this, she's too that. It could never, I feel like a lot of men don't stick to the point.
You know what? I think it's both. I'm going to be fair. I do believe that there are women that will definitely throw shade when they're losing a conversation or an argument. They might say something like, when you cooking her on the mic, she might say you spitting on the mic, you know.
Right.
Right?
That was being funny. Like, you know,
Say,
that's
right.
being funny, but that's not
joking.
shaming you. You know what I mean?
But I will say
Right.
something like, I do believe that low IQ people,
Right.
they can't articulate themselves. And when they can't articulate themselves, they come with attacks.
Right.
And that's how they feel superior in a conversation. It makes them feel like they have one up. You're fat. I was fat before we started having this conversation.
Right.
Right? You're short. I was short before we had this conversation. So again, if you feel that the need to go to that level is because you can't articulate yourself in that heated exchange where you're able to explain yourself without being emotional and irate. And if you can't do that, that's low vibration.
Have
right?
you ever done that in a conversation
When
with
I
a
was
woman? Have you
younger.
ever gone to that?
A lot younger, yeah. I've been in situations where I've had to tap out plenty of times because the whole goal is to move forward. And the reason why I had to learn that is because what is the goal? The goal is the behavior and being mindful of what I'm trying to accomplish. Right? If I'm trying to accomplish something, I can't personalize everything. I have
Right.
people that say bad things about me who misrepresent. Let me go into the analogy the other day of, and I want to say this real fast, the analogy of the lion and the sun. People, they so literal. They took that conversation so literal.
Yeah.
It's saying if a father, right, sees his son falls into a lion's den, is an analogy. Analogy, everyone that understands what an analogy is a way of explaining something, right?
Yeah.
And giving an example to explain it. It's not literal. That's like one day, I said to a guy, a shark came up from the ocean and told the boy that the ocean is deep, and the man on land told him the ocean is not deep, who would you believe?
The one who said it was deep.
Which is
yeah, of course.
Because the shark is in the water,
shark
right?
is in the water, right?
So people will take it like sharks don't talk. That's not the point. The point is, I'm just trying to say to you, the wise man who's experienced marriage is telling you about marriage, but yet and still you listen to the non-married. That's an analogy. I was explaining that. But some people, they can't process it past the lion. So when I said the lion, right, is the representation of life. And is explaining that your child who is losing in life, which he's 21, he's a grown man, he's losing in life, but he doesn't have the sense of urgency to fix himself. So at the end of the day, life is going to eat him alive because he has to want it for himself, or he's going to always expect mom or dad to continue to fish for them. That's like also leading the horse to water, but you can't make it fish. You teach it how to fish, they should want to fish for themselves now. I've taught you how. But people take things literal too much.
It's as I agree with you, because I did see some of those comments, and I told you, even when you said it, I said, I think a lot of women, a lot of moms, because even I was like to you, oh my God, you would let your son, we take it a little literal. I felt like a lot of women kind of took it literal, and I knew what you meant, you know, but even as I watch the comments now and I see some of the men saying like crying wolf and the wolf is coming, and somebody, I don't know what that comment said about seeing a black man's profile or something. I don't even know what that's about. I'm not talking about disagreeing with someone. Everyone has a right to their opinion. And if 100%. You come on here and say, listen, I don't agree with what she said. Someone said, oh, she's bashing men, but will stand by women or whatever. If Q has a point with a woman that I don't agree with, again, I'm never going to stand behind something that I don't know. But if I know how certain women are, and I know strong women and independent women and hardworking women, I'm always going to stand up for that. And that's just what it is, whether you like it or not. What I'm talking about is bashing someone's physicality. I would never sit here and disagree with Q, and now I need to talk about him and how he looks and this and that. I'm saying to you, men who do that, I feel like that's what's giving little boy energy. It's because you can really have healthy debate and just prove your point without having to say anything. I'm asking you, what does skin color have to do with anyone's right to speak? And if you can't answer that, then just don't comment at all.
But you know when you have these discussions, right? The first thing is, once Shay tells me how something made her feel,
right,
the first thing you're supposed to do is validate the person's feelings. It's not about what my intention was. It was about validating your feelings, meaning, okay, we're friends.
Right.
Q, I don't like the way you made me feel. The first thing I should say is, you know what? I apologize.
Right.
But Shay, this was my intentions. It can't be your intentions didn't validate their feelings. That's not healthy. And it takes a mature person to understand that I have to at least validate, because that's their perception.
Right.
Like the conversation that we could have had, your perception is still your perception. And you also have a right to your perception.
Right.
So if I take away your right to your perception, I'm automatically minimizing you to the point where I'm undervaluing your feelings. So reality is, okay, today we had a discussion and you said something that I didn't know that that's how you felt about it. What was the first thing I said? Was I apologize, right?
Apologize, yeah.
And the reason why I apologized is because I said, Q, don't make it personal. Understand this conversation made her feel like this.
Right.
So therefore, if I make it about me, I minimize your feelings. And I think that's what a lot of men can't do. They can't get past themselves, and a lot of women also, they can't get past themselves. I've learned how to get past myself so I can get on with myself. If you can't get past yourself, you can't get on with yourself. And a lot of people, they cannot get past themselves. Like when I said, again, overall, my conversation with you is to still be a friend after it.
Right.
Why do I feel the need to go to the extreme about my feelings more than my friend's feelings in the moment of how she perceived what I said? That's what perception is. Right. Perception is an opinionated feeling or thought of what something that might transpire. I could have seen a fight. You could have seen a fight. We've seen two different fights. And you genuinely thought you saw that, and I genuinely thought I saw that. It's just what it is. So let's have a discussion about it.
So it goes back to something else that they said. I think he just really wants his comment to be read. I don't know what the name is, the one at the bottom where it says, she said she can't tell her friends the truth. And Q's thing was, a lot of men can have real conversations, and we admitted that a lot of women, sometimes when you go to tell your friend something, I don't really feel like I could tell my friend or I want to tell my friend, you look awful in that dress, because that might just be my opinion. To her,
Yes.
she might have looked in the mirror and thought she looked good. So sometimes for us, we're a little softer with our friends as women, because you don't want to be told you're jealous. It's not the truth we tell when it needs to be told. About their image, though, I'm not going to tell my friend, your hair is messed up, I don't like your makeup, I don't like your dress. It's just certain things that we just don't want to say. Like, I don't.
I think that's
and
what we
maybe
gotta
that's
get.
wrong of us as women, because we should just tell our friends everything. But I don't want to tell my friend that I think her outfit doesn't look good, because she may have put it on and thought she looked great. But if it's something that's really going to impact her negatively, of course I'm going to tell my friend. I'm that friend that they can always call and be like, what do you think about this? If it's something serious. But certain things, it's like, I don't have an opinion in how you look. And if you think you're a 10 versus if you're a 3, that doesn't matter to me. Your opinion of yourself is your opinion of yourself.
Agreed.
I don't want to tell my friend, like,
Long
no,
as it
you
don't lead
think
to
you're a 10,
delusion.
you're really a 5. I don't have a place or right to tell anyone
But long as
that.
it don't lead to delusion, right?
Right.
Long as it don't lead to delusion. Because a lot of times what you may feel might not carry over to reality. Right? I might feel like I'm the owner of the bank, but I can't walk in there and take money out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. You can't make yourself delusional in your thoughts. And a lot of people have become delusional in their thoughts. I'm like, listen, having a high sense of self-worth, I don't think there's no such thing. Right? The only way I can see that it can be a problem if when you become conceited to the point where no one can tell you anything and you think
Right.
you're God's
Right.
gift to earth, that's a problem within itself, right?
I
But
agree.
reality is, I don't blame a woman or a man if they think they're handsome or beautiful.
Right.
I don't think I have a right to say that. I can just simply say I'm not attracted to that person, but also the dating world could also say to that person, I'm not attracted to you. So therefore the dating world is representing, hey, I'm not seeing what you're seeing. So therefore, guess what?
Hey, silly.
It doesn't make sense that you believe such a thing. Like a man that knows that he's shorter knows that in most cases women are attracted to what? More taller men. He can't get mad. He has to learn how to accept that every woman won't be attracted to him.
But I don't think it's fair if I have a short friend to tell him, you're never gonna get a girl
I
because
don't
you're
think- I
mad
think
short.
that's horrible.
You really short. Like
I
I
think
feel
that's
like
horrible.
where is the line in how you tell people
The way I
about
just said it.
themselves? You know,
I'm like, let's be honest. In most cases, most women aren't. I'll ask them simply, like, do you believe that more women are attracted to shorter or taller men? And if that person can't identify logic,
Right.
that means that person is delusional.
Right.
If a person says more women are attracted to shorter men, that man is delusional.
Right.
If a man is broken, I say more women are attracted to richer or broken men, and he say broken men, he's delusional. It's the same thing as a woman that's not that attractive, believing that she's super attractive when she's not that attractive. I'm not saying she shouldn't have confidence and believe in herself, but the difference is there comes a level of delusion that can be skewed in that thought, where you believe something that's not reality because the world is not knocking on your door the way you believe you look.
Right.
That's where delusion is. And that's where some people get caught up with their delusion. And I'm like, yo, you're clearly delusional, whether male or female. I've seen it in both cases.
Right.
You can have a conversation with somebody, they'll tell you, I'll say simply, yo, I tell a guy, when the last time a woman tried to talk to you? It's been a while. And I'm like, so you go out for a whole week, how many women try to talk to you? They'll say, not that many. Maybe you need to present yourself a little different. Right? And I'm not saying financially, but at least stop looking so frumpy. Stop looking like you are poor. Because naturally, women are always attracted to the more masculine, stronger looking man. Maybe he needs to get in the gym.
Right.
Right? And I'm not going to say there are not women that are attracted to heavier men, but in most cases, most women are attracted to physically fit men.
Right.
It's just what it is. And most men are attracted to physically fit women. It's just what it is. Right. If we had to go over aesthetics, sometimes the things that we can change as humans, we avoid it because of the fact that we want the world to adjust to the way we think. And that's a sick mentality within itself. You want the world to cater to you. That's a horrible mentality, right? So what do you think about this little boy energy out here today?
I said it. It's very simple for me. I tell you, I'm a very simple person. I just don't do what I don't do. Oh yeah, we outside, silly. I don't argue. I tell you, I don't argue my point. I'm not interested in ever going back and forth with people. Like I vet men and how I'm dating somebody just based off how they treat me. I've never been someone who was about, per se your finances, as long as we could make things work together. And I told you, it's about ambition for me. I like a man that's driven. I like a man that if he is uncomfortable in the position that he's in, he has a plan and some kind of motion to get to where he needs to get. That is it. That is all. It's all about the way
That's
you treat
fair.
me, though. You know
That's
what I
fair.
mean? I have 2 kids. So if I'm going to date, I need someone who is going to not only accept the cow, but accept the calf. But I'm not looking, he could put me up, he could fly me out, he could do this. Like, I'm 40 years old. That's just not what I'm looking for.
Yes.
How you treat me is everything. How you present yourself to me is everything. How he presents himself, like, you know, his faith. Is he like, you know, we all say God fearing, but that's true, because now I'm going to church every Sunday and I'm walking in my faith and I'm trying to. So those are things that are just important to me. So again, I don't need anyone to agree with my standards or my experience. To each his own. What I may be into, somebody else may not be into, you know, but.
Yeah. You know what's scary though, when you have people that say, we all believe in most cases, laws of attraction. Would you agree? I think that's where the delusion comes in, where the person is like, trying to attract something that doesn't fit the law. They're trying to change the law to please to them. Like, for instance, if I'm speeding in a car and there's a police officer behind me, I'm going to be pulled over, right? And I'm going to get a ticket. But if I'm saying to you, I can speed and I don't deserve a ticket, you don't think I want the world to adjust to me?
Right.
And that's what you see a lot of times we're dealing with men and women. I see some men who haven't built themselves up to the point where it's like, brother, I don't think you're worthy of trying to marry somebody when you haven't built yourself. I think when a man is getting married, it says that I'm in a position to take care of a family. And I'm willing to do what it takes to take care of family. The whole purpose, nowadays we have so many fathers being missing, right? The whole goal of a father walking to his daughter to the altar is to hand over his responsibility to the man. And the man is supposed to be built up and prepared to take on the responsibility with building a family. And that's just what it is. If a man doesn't understand that, then he clearly haven't built himself up to be a man. A man understands that a woman will always, and real women, and I'm just saying, will have more intentional willingness, and I say intentional because it has to be intentional to do it. More women are willing to submit to a superior man that they see as a superior man. If they don't see him as a superior man, she's not going to submit to him. And argumentatively, you can yell, kick, scream, and punch. She still doesn't see what you see or you're trying to present. You can act all tough all you want, because I do like to say this a lot, Shay. There are a lot of men that literally would fight a physical man, but they won't fight a physical bill. There are a lot of men like that. They would love to fight physically, but they won't fight physical bills. They won't fight physical responsibilities. They don't like to be challenged from another man because of the fact that they were never taught how to be challenged by a man. So anytime they hear these things, it makes them insecure. Because again, like I always say to you, we are in a heavy flux of single parents. So a lot of the energy that Kenzie asked me earlier, can you blame a man for being emotional when he grew around a lot of feminine energy? And I said, after a certain point, he has to identify it and see that this is wrong. Right? He has to be intentional where he wants to put himself, but also he has to know it's wrong, because you don't know what you don't know in a lot of cases too. So the man that's behaving like that see themselves as right.
Right.
I remember one time I was at a club, right? It's a true story. We was in the back of the club and the bouncer didn't want to let me and my guy in. But me and my guy already went in. But the shift switched where the new bouncer didn't know us. My man started wilding. Yo, we got a section. I was like, yo, bro, hold on, just calm down. I'm gonna just get this handle, bro. He could not. I'm just looking at him like, you ever see the videos, Ken Dre Tyler, when somebody get pulled over by a cop? Why are you pulling us over? Right. You're making the situation worse.
Worse by doing that, yeah.
Like, because you can't control your emotions. Sit down somewhere. Let's just, yo, bro, you can't just assume that everyone is on the same accord just because they had a business. This new security guard who relieved the other security guard don't know. So I said, just calm the hell down. Let me handle the situation. I talked to him man to man. He said, no problem. He went in check. He said, but again, you almost now getting in because of your man. And I looked at him like, yo, bro, respectfully, you got to control yourself. Because again, you can't just assume everybody's on the same page. It happens. How many times have you been at work and somebody didn't tell you something and then you like, it happens. We're all human. So again,
but a lot of men are quick to fly off the handle in a lot of those situations.
Because they're very
emotional. It's the
emotional.
ego, too. Like, you can't get, what you mean I can't get it? You know who I am. I bought 10 bottles in here, doing the most. Where it's like, yo.
I call that little shorty.
Calm down.
That's a shorty.
Calm down.
That's a shorty right there.
Calm down.
He a whole shorty.
But did you see, switching the topic, did you see
Can I say
what
that one time? He a whole shorty.
He's a whole shorty.
Whole shorty. Respectfully, he's a whole shorty. And I'm sad to say this, like.
Thank you.
I want you to keep that, don't lose that thought though. I just gotta say this to them. To the men that have no sense of self-awareness and no sense of self-control, you're like one moment of being incarcerated in a moment where you're gonna go too far and somebody gonna answer the call. When you get that extra and irate, somebody gonna answer that call. Somebody gonna answer it. And when they answer that call, be ready for the consequences of the call. You dial 911 and don't run from the consequences of that call you dial for. A lot of times men gotta understand, it don't make you a punk being wise enough to walk away from a situation that can cost you your freedom. It doesn't make you a punk to be able to walk away from a situation where you're able to compromise and actually navigate yourself out of danger. I think that is the wise man, right? There was a video with a young man, he was carrying big boulders down the hill. There was another video, but by the end of the building of the boulders, the old man put more boulders down the hill. Because you know why? The man went and got a wheelbarrow and wheeled the boulders down the hill. Did they both do work? Yes. But the young man believed that his ego was, I'm gonna carry these big old boulders down the hill. Yes, in the beginning of doing it, you have the strength. But over time, you're gonna realize you're gonna run out of gas. And the old man when he was running out of gas, the old man was just kicking in.
Yeah.
So again, the old man realized it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. And a lot of men haven't learned that. They move with impulse, they move with ego, but it takes a man to teach them that, right? And it took me a man to learn that from.
I agree.
And a lot of times when you, especially if you look at, for instance, if he ain't looking at the older guy like, yo, why the older guy is like this in a situation, right? The older guy's making a conscious decision of wiseness, but he's like, you old, I'm gonna just outperform you. But over time, he realized the old man outperformed him, right?
I also think that, to add to what you say, I think you have some women out there too that'll put their men in compromising situations.
100%.
And those are some females. Come on, ladies, we're gonna call that out. I feel like you do have some females. I think that one of the most attractive thing about a female is when she's with her man and her man tells her to chill and she knows how to chill. I think you
100%.
have some females that feel like their men can beat up everybody, so they start wilding and they expect their men to just go in the lion's den and just attack. And I learned when I was younger, especially, like, every time a girl gets into something, what she said, I'm gonna call my boyfriend,
Yep,
call my brother, I'm gonna call this, I'm gonna call that.
Yep.
You don't know who you calling that person to come to, so you don't know what this other dude can or cannot do. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe a whole crash out. But I think sometimes we need to have that discernment where we just need to just humble ourselves, because we see that a lot. I've seen it on social media where she's like, oh, I could get my brother, I could just get my man. And it's like, yeah, but you don't know, you might be leading him to his death.
Yes.
Maybe leading him straight to his grave just with your mouth. Like, sometimes we just gotta, when they tell us to chill, just chill.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I do believe that they're, and I'm gonna be fair, and I'm gonna just say one comment. I do believe that most women believe they could beat you with their mouth.
I agree.
And the only way a woman could beat a man with her mouth is he's a sensitive man. Yeah. A sensitive man can only be beat with her mouth. A sensitive man will internalize and personalize the conversation more than a non-sensitive man. I can outthink a woman. I can outlogic a woman, right? Because again, even in a situation of uncomfortableness, I'll show that I have logic and common sense, and I have a sense of self-awareness, and I'm conscious and I'm calm. But it takes time to get like that. It takes time. It's years and years of practicing it, because you unlearning bad behaviors that you already learned, because more than likely you absorb that mentality from someone that already taught you that mentality.
Right.
It's like telling a 40-year-old person to behave a certain way after 40 years. You're conditioned, and once you're conditioned, it's hard to break conditioning. So like for me, I had to learn, like you see my past. I have a crazy past. But the reality is a lot of me was, it was more led by my ego and my insecurity when I felt like I had to do something. Like I remember one time, there was a guy that was talking crazy. I knew I could beat him. Physically, I knew I could get him. But in the same breath, I'm like, what is that proof?
Right.
It proves that I have no self-control. It proves that I'm about to let someone make me walk away from my family who needs me because of my feelings and my ego. That says a lot, and a lot of men are definitely like that, because you wouldn't have so many men in prison if we didn't. You wouldn't have so many men in prison if we had a lot of men who knew how to control their emotions. And I do say a lot of them learn certain behaviors from certain people.
So I sent you something the other day on Instagram with Dr. Umar, right?
Yes.
And it was talking about, and I don't know how you guys on the live or the guys that are here feel about that, but he said a lot of times, he said he believes that Black women are the way they are because of Black men and their lack of protection for Black women and everything that Black women have had to just overcome over the years and over the years and over the years. And there's this expectation of Black women to not be a certain way when it's the only thing that they've been taught to do. Do you agree with that? Because I feel like a lot of times when we talk, we end up saying a lot of men are how they are because of single mothers, but he tries to get to the point like, well, why are there those single mothers out there? Why are these men not staying in the home outside of the system? Let's stop blaming the system. Let's talk about the men who just don't want to be there. So I'm asking you, what did you think about that clip? Did you agree with him, or do you feel like...
I agree. I agree to a degree, because there are exceptions, right? But what I would say is, if I took a thoroughbred dog, right? A thoroughbred, and I breed it with a mutt, does the litter come out as a thoroughbred dog?
No.
Why?
Because bred with a mutt.
And that's what happens with a lot of our women. They could be thoroughbred women. And a lot of times some of her aggression comes from the trauma, the having so much responsibilities and burden as a woman. And I have an empathy for, I come from a single mother. I've seen my mother's struggles. That's what actually made me step my game up. Right, and I had to grow hard and then go hard in life because I saw my mother suffering and finances. I saw it, right? But what I will say is, you have to know who you are as a woman, and these women that don't understand who they are, and they breeding with guys that you see that already have certain aesthetics, certain behavior patterns, and you're not accountable for that. That's the problem. I do believe that women are more conscious before sex than men. I genuinely believe that. Women are way more conscious before sex than men. I think men are less conscious with sex before women. And I think the men can get there over time, but most men will never get there. So what I will say is, based on what you just said, I do believe that the men that are creating the situations where these women have to provide, protect, security, all of these things for a child that she didn't create alone, I think that is a problem within itself. And I do believe that these men that create these children, sometimes he's done that to another woman before her. That's not the first kid. If a woman tells me this is her first child that he's ever done that to, I can understand her fault.
Right.
But you have some women that will have babies with men that have 10 kids. There's a level of foolishness there that we have to acknowledge. I'm like, that's a little foolish. Like, right, if a man dating a woman that has 4 baby daddies, I'm like, don't be surprised that you're 5.
Right.
There's a pattern. And when you see patterns, you have to say, I'm not the exception to the pattern. He's shown who he is. Can he change? Yes. But in most cases, will he change? No. I'm just going to be unfair, because a person in most cases that come from broken situations, they're more comfortable creating broken situations. I know more men who come from broken situations, that's why they don't mind creating broken situations. Some men they don't have the urgency and the willingness to say, let me be the curse breaker. They recreate the curse. And then they laugh at their father, who was the curse, but they didn't see that you became the curse. So the man that's the problem is the man that received it already, and you weren't willing to break what your father couldn't break. You're the problem. You worse than your father. Because think about it. If my father was a substance abuser and I became a substance abuser, I'm weaker than my father, because I saw the outcome of my father. So the reality, if I saw the outcome, and I know how it feels to come from a single father, if I can't look at myself and say, why would I procreate my child to experience the same experience that I experienced, that's a very unconscious human. That human has no consciousness. Because logic says, I don't want my child to feel, because if you say you love your child more than you, your first goal and your first instinct should be, I don't care if I'm perfect or not perfect, I just don't want to have my child have the same bad experiences I've had. That's a good parent. That's a good parent. No one said there's never going to be a such thing as a perfect parent.
Right.
But being conscious as a man, saying, hold on, my dad didn't raise me, my dad wasn't there for me, my dad didn't protect me, my dad didn't nurture me. But if I do a fraction of what my dad didn't do, I'm doing better. I'm doing better. I'm at the basketball games that I wish my dad was at. I'm at the school events, right? I'm doing the little things that matter. Because I'm going to tell y'all something as men, for my guys on the live. Children don't remember what you brought them. They remember what you did for them as far as the times you were there for them. They remember those times. And I'm going to be honest with you, all the things, I can't remember my first Christmas, my 10th Christmas. I can't remember those things. Most things I do remember about, like holidays, is the moments I spent with family. Right. I don't remember the gifts. But what I'm saying is I do remember the moments that somebody came home from jail that I love. I remember those moments. Because one thing about a life, you don't never remember what somebody gave you. You remember what the feeling that happened when it happened, right? A lot of people remember when they lost their virginity. It's your first sexual encounter, right? We can remember those memories.
Right.
But there's things that you won't remember. But a lot of people, they don't understand. Like I tell my men on here, if you're not, you'll never be the perfect mother. You'll never be the perfect father. But you just got to be the present mother and the present father. And that's what a lot of men got to break. And you can't say your dad wasn't there and use as an excuse. That's you basically being your father. The man you despise so much, you're being him. That's diabolical.
You had a clip the other day.
Okay.
It had a lot of views. It had a lot of comments, a little controversial. And it spoke about, if a man comes into a woman's life and he's able to take away 50% of the responsibilities of her, from her, then that's a good man.
Yes.
And you had a lot of men in the comments. I was like, yeah, some women won't get it. Some women won't get it. And not that I don't agree that obviously if someone is coming in and they're bearing half of the responsibilities, that's not a good thing.
Yes.
But I feel like being able to do that can really constitute a good provider, but it doesn't necessarily mean a good man. I think there are many more factors that would make a man a good man, because I feel like you have men out here that may be paying bills, but they're physically abusive, verbally abusive,
Agreed.
they're cheating, they're doing a lot of that. And would that still constitute a good man because he's in here paying bills, but he's not treating his woman the way he should? So
Okay.
I feel like there's a big difference between someone who can provide and someone who's a good person.
See, the issue is right now, would you say there are women that are good leaders?
Yes.
Would you say there are women that make good partners?
Yeah.
See, I think what the issue is with this word submission, right? And this is the issue based on today's society. If you go 50-50 with me, that means we're great partners. No, just stay with me. That means we're partners.
We're partners.
Yes, because
Okay.
think about it. If we buy a business and it costs 100,000, you put 100,000, 50,000, I put 50,000, what are we?
You said great partners before. I'm saying we're
but
partners.
I'm just-
We're partners,
No, but
right?
what I'm getting at is we're partners.
We're partners, right?
So the issue is it's bad when a man who's in a partner situation expecting to be a leader. You in a situation of a partner. You get where I'm going with this?
Where are you going with this? That he should fully be 100%
He should be
in
understanding
order
conscious
to...
that I'm not fully taking on the leadership role, so therefore she won't be submissive to someone I see as my partner. So you're his partner, meaning we split bills, we handle responsibilities together. That's a partnership. And with the fact that some women are better leaders and some women are strong, you're going to see more and more partnerships than ever. That's why I said a person splitting bills with you creates a healthy partnership. But a leader or a submissive woman will sit to a man who takes on the workload of being the leader. Just because me and you, we're paying half of the bills, that's not a leadership. Me and you can't say that you're the best player on the team and I'm doing just as much as you. There's no way you're the best player on the team. Think of that logic, Shay. We're on a basketball team. You average 10, I average 10. You get 3 rebounds, I get 3 rebounds. You get 2 blocks, I get 2 blocks. There is nobody better than none. We're equal. So that's why me and you should be good partners. But what I say is when a man thinks just because he does the same amount as his woman, he thinks that she should submit to him, he is diabolical.
Yeah, but that's not what I was saying, though. I was saying in the clip, it was saying that if he is alleviating half from you, then that makes him a good man. And what I'm saying is, I don't think that just because if I'm paying half and you paying half, then you're not really, we're both providing. So you're a provider. So we're both.
You're partners.
Okay, but I'm saying in your clip, I'm going after your words. I'm saying he's a provider, he's a good man.
Yes.
So I'm saying to you that just because there's provision, it doesn't make him a good man. You can have men out there that are paying bills, that are maybe even 100% paying bills. Let's take out 50-50, that are 100% paying bills, but it doesn't make them a good man. What else are they doing? It doesn't... Being a provider isn't the only thing that embodies a good man.
Agreed.
So you're not going to tell me that you got a man out here that's beating his woman, cheating on her, going out there making babies, not coming out, whatever it is. And now it's like, well, you know what, but he pay bills. But he paid the bills. Like, you have daughters. Do you think that you could look at your daughters in 15, 20 years and they say to you, you know, Dad, he paying the bills though, but he's doing this, this, this. And would you sit them down and say, but you know what? He's a good man because he's a provider.
No, I wouldn't. And I think if we could always create, I could tell you somebody that's tall could be lazy. I can create anything negative to something positive. I could always find something negative. Oh, my woman is good in the bed, but she don't want to work. I can always create something negative to something positive. I could always create it. Oh, my son listens, but he steals. I can keep doing it, right? I can just keep creating it. What I'm saying is a provider being the fact of a man that wants a submissive woman. That's what I mean when I talk like that. If a man wants a submissive woman, he has to know that he has to be a provider. If a man wants a great provider, a partner, then he has to understand what it is. And you can't be controlling. You have to be able to say, hey, babe, we got a $10,000 in the joint account. I was thinking about buying a new TV for the living room. He has to be more comfortable with that because of the fact that he is in a situation where they're partners.
Right.
He just has to accept it, and vice versa to the woman. If me and you open a business and we're both splitting the bill 50-50, you have a right to say yay or nay just like me. And if a person is not comfortable with that, then they're delusional. If the man wants a situation where he can lead a woman, then he needs to take on the leadership role of leadership, meaning doing more.
So you don't
why
think
I
if
say
it's
a woman
50-50?
submissive to me is because I'm willing to take on a workload that gives her the ability to have free time. I'm willing to take on a workload that gives her the ability to enjoy her resources more. I'm willing to take on a workload that gives her the ability to spend more time with our child. But if a man is not doing it, if my woman going to work 9 hours, I'm going to work 9 hours, and we come home same time every day, I can understand why a woman don't want to cook for you every day.
But you've also said that submissiveness should not have anything to do with finances.
No, I've been saying partnership.
So my thing is, if we're 50-50, then you don't think that a woman can submit to a man who she's in a partnership with and they're doing 50-50?
In most cases, no. In most cases, no. And I'm going to be fair and honest because I can't see a person making a final decision when I'm paying half of the bills just like them. If I minimize me to be in a partnership of business and I see that I'm paying exact amount as you, why don't I have a voice as big as yours? It don't make sense. And I'm not trying to make it a male or a female thing. I'm making it a partnership thing. There are situations in today's society, as I always tell you, most healthy relationships will have partnerships. Because again, these women are making their own money. They're building up themselves too. So
Right.
Guess what? It's just the world has changed, right? And when a partnership is, let's come to a conclusion of, don't go to the dealership and just come home with a car one day. I'm your partner. Even if you're going to pay for it, your money is our money. And vice versa to the man. Don't just come home with a car and just be like, ta-da. That's not a good partner. That's a horrible partner. But again, if you're paying the bulk of the bills, then you can make certain decisions because you are doing the bulk and the workload that represents for you to make big decisions like that. It's just being fair. I don't see me being in a relationship with a woman and I'm covering 80% of the bills and I view her 100% as a partner. I'm not going to cap. And anybody that say otherwise, I think they're lying. I don't see that as reality. I can see that as a partner as far as parenting. I can see that as a partner because the responsibility is not equal. It's just not equal. So again, if a woman tells me your man pays 80% of the bills, he's handling everything, that man don't see you as no partner. And if he say he does, he's lying. He loves you, he cares about you, he wants you, he want to be with you. But if he had to leave with his stuff, he ain't splitting it with you. But if a man saw you paying 50% of the bills and you pay 50% of the bills, he is definitely willing to say, hey, you should, unless he's on some weirdo crap, if she paid 50% of the bills, he should be able to comfortably say, hey, no problem. You deserve 50% because you did pay 50% of these things.
I disagree, though. I think you have a lot of men out there that may be doing the bulk of things, but they still allow their women.
No, she enjoys the house and the resources of what he created.
And I don't think they use their money. I think a lot of men just feel like, okay, this is their job to provide, but they're not using that against her. And I don't really think that, I think that's definitely contradictory to things you've said before, because if now we're saying that submission has to do with who pays what and how much you pay, then I think that.
But how many times I said every man should do more than their woman? Have I said that numerous occasions? But I said in most cases, most healthy relationships today will be 50-50. Most men and women aren't in positions to take care of the bulk of all the bills. It's just the cost of living.
Right. So that's why I'm saying that should have nothing to do with how submissive you are. I don't think that I would, let me get out of me. I don't know if many women will say, you know what, they'll submit more just because he's paying more.
I disagree.
And I don't think a lot of men will say, I don't respect her. I respect her less because I'm paying more. I think maybe a lot more women would submit more to a man who's paying more than a man to say, I don't look at her as my equal because I'm paying more. Because I think that men who are true providers, they look for women to fulfill other roles. They're okay with providing because they're not looking for her to go out and do that. So they respect her just as much. You have a lot of men. Go talk to my wife. Talk to my wife. The wife makes all the decision and they pay all the bills.
But she just might be responsible with those aspects. And it takes a true man to understand that he's just not good at those decisions. I don't. That's an ego thing when you lead with your ego. When you know your woman is good at something and you're just not utilizing her skill. If you're not utilizing the fact that your wife is better with money than you are, then you're a fool. If you're not utilizing the fact that your wife is better with doing homework with the children, and you're not utilizing that, then you're a fool. If you're not utilizing the fact that your wife is better at washing clothes than you, then you're a fool. That's an ignorant person. Because it's about who is better and more efficient at something. That's what makes a healthy relationship. Every relationship has different pros and cons. Like something you might be good, I might not be good at. So therefore, as a partner, I need you to do it. And it's not a male or a female thing. It's just I'm better at it. I know men who cook way better than their wives. Way better than their wives. Not even close. I'm talking about his wife is like a level 5. He's like a level 12. So again, and now you're going to say as a woman, she should. That's ego. You're better at cooking. Just cook. And if you have more time, cook.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I feel like some men, that may be what equates their respect for their women. It may be, you know what? She is better at decision making. She does maintain this household. She does cook. She does do the homework. She does that. So to him, that may be his 50-50 partner. That may be where he says, you know what? I'm cool with paying the bills because she takes care of all of that. So he may not look at her any less. He may not feel like, you know what? I'm superior to her because I'm paying the bills. Because to some men, provision and being a provider is what they want to do. So they don't respect their woman any less because she can't pay half the bill.
Okay, I'll give you a man right now. Shay walks into a man who's making $1 million a year. Shay moves in his house. You think he sees you as a partner?
But it depends on what he's looking for. It depends on what he's looking for, Q. But you want me to answer without an explanation.
So what a partner does is when y'all break up, he will let you take half. That's a partner. If you and me are in a relationship and I built myself up before you came into the situation, and we divorce, you think he's comfortable letting you walk away with half of what he already built? That's like a person on a podium, they won a championship, right? And they say, hey, I would never won these championships without Scottie Pippen, like Michael Jordan saying that. And Scottie Pippen saying, I would have never won these championships without Jordan. That's a healthy partnership. But if a person is doing more, Shay, they're gonna always know that they're doing more. And they're never going to see their partner 100% as the partner that they think they are. When a person is definitely, for instance, if you work at a job and we all doing the same workload and you're not doing the same amount as us, there's no way we're going to see you as an equal. There's no way. If a person says that because it sounds good, right? Oh, me and my wife is equal. I had my house before. You know, 40-year-old man trying to start all over? Things that he built before he got her? That's delusional. Reality is the person that comes into a situation that's already established, in most cases, that person is not going to see that person as an equal partner. The people that say, oh, my husband does, I'm like, let's be real. Y'all might have been together before y'all had those things. So if y'all was together before you had those things, yes, you might have been supporting and watching the children. So that can be also equated to finances. Right? Because she lost time from being able to work to being with the children. So that's fair. So she can say that I had to hold down the children. 4 kids, 3 kids while you were at work. It happens. And
but
that's
you're
a fair
very passive
trade.
about that as if that's nothing though.
No,
but
I
I'm
said,
saying to you, some men
that's fair
value
that she can use that as an argument. I said that's fair. She can use that as an argument. Like, look, I was spending a lot of hours because in courts, when they're doing divorces, a lot of times they equate the hours that you are with your children. I've been through one already. So they will equate the time that's spent with the children, saying that, okay, let's say she was making $30 an hour. She was losing the lack of making $30 an hour because she's spending 8 hours a day with the children. So if you do do the math, Tyler, 8 times 30. 8 times 30 is what?
240.
240. So that means that person is losing a earning potential of $240 every day because I'm spending the time with our children. And if a man can't think like that, he's a fool. I'll pay all the bills because she got to watch the kids.
But you see,
that's where it can become fair.
Someone just said, I gave up my legal career to be a stay-at-home mom. Okay. And I feel like you say okay, but you have to understand sometimes in certain relationships or partnerships or marriages, sometimes they look at it and to see what works best for the family.
Agreed.
A woman sometimes will give up a lot.
And men too.
A woman sometimes will give up a lot, right? To make sure like, okay, let's see how this will work. I'll stay home. I'll give up my career or whatever. The man will say, you know what? I'll go out and take the provision role. I don't think, where I'm disagreeing with you is I don't think that a lot of men are looking at their women as less as less and not 50-50 as a partner just because he's paying more of the bills. I feel like you have a lot of men out there that are like, you know what? She holds it down. And they talk about their women like, listen, talk to her. She take care of that. And they don't look at it as, you know what? Well, I'm paying all the bills, so she can't come in here. This is not a partnership. You have some men that, you know what? They may have the big house and the mansion, and the woman comes in and they still look at her as beneficial because she's coming in and she's turning that house into a home.
I never said she was an asset. I said a partner.
So partner is someone who can pay,
and it's hard.
who's financial. So partner only equates to finances.
So Shay.
No, I'm just asking you. I'm asking you, does partner to you equate to finances? When you're looking for a partner, is it finances?
It's going into a situation that's already winning and act like you're the value. Your mother and father are related.
I never said she.
No, look what I just said. A person that believes that a person that's already winning, with or without you, and you did something for that, you crazy. Like, you have to be crazy. Like, there's no way. Like, there's a saying, right? We, as sports guys, we watched a guy by the name of Kevin Durant. He helped Golden State win 2 more championships. But the issue is Golden State won before he got there. They won before he got there. So respectfully, yes, you helped us win 2 more, but we won before you got here. There's no way we're going to see you as the person you think you are.
No one said that person thought they were something. It's saying the value that that woman may bring to him as a man.
He may look at her as valuable. She can make the situation better.
He may look at her as valuable.
No, but she can make it better.
Because we don't.
But if you meet a man that makes a lot of money and you go meet him and you become a stay-at-home mom, you won. You hit the lottery. You hit the whole lottery. You hit the whole lottery. And if you don't think that, you crazy. Because it takes a horrible mother to say, I get to all my bills paid while I get to spend all the learning years of spending time with my child.
But we're not talking about millionaires. We're talking about regular hardworking people, Q, where a woman may give up something, her career, giving up. I'm telling you, having a child, being pregnant and having a child.
Most people can't afford to do that.
What women go through is a lot. And a lot of people cannot listen. And I'm sure a lot of the women on here who's had kids. I mean, I had 2 kids. I worked up until 3 days. 3 days. My last day of work was that Monday, and I had both of my kids on that Thursday.
And that's gonna be most people's situation.
I just said most people may agree to that, but I'm saying a lot of times we can't afford to stay home. We don't want to stay home. We're still trying to pursue careers, but we see what's best for the family sometimes. So in for us, it was best for him to go work and for me to stay home a little longer. Didn't mean I wanted to. Didn't mean I wanted to, but I don't think he looked at me as any less valuable because I was at home. Because she's at home taking care of our baby, making sure the house is taken care of. Yeah, but you said what makes you think that a man would value that? What are you bringing to the table?
If a man built himself up all the way,
don't have kids.
You move into his house that he's already established. Will he share it with you? Yes. Will he make you comfortable there? Yes. Do he see you as a partner to help establish that? No. And if he say yes, he's lying.
Well, that's what a man who built himself up. We're talking about 2 different scenarios.
But that's what I said all the time.
And a rich
How many
person.
times I said the man that had before you came there? I said that the whole time. The whole time. The man that's built before he got there. Before he got there, he's going to always see you as an option. He's not going to see you as, I think a woman that meets a man who's building himself, who's not there, and he gets there with her, he's going to extremely value her. Extremely value her. That's why you can see a guy that can be extremely handsome with a woman that's not so attractive. That's why you can see a woman who's very beautiful with a guy that's not so attractive. Because they was in the trenches together and they came up together. But I'm telling you, as a man that's already established, you meeting a woman and you're already established, they don't see that as equal.
So I guess your advice then, like you say, a man should never move into a woman's place because she'll always tell him to use it against him. So I'm guessing you would give the same advice to a woman, because if you don't consider me an asset, maybe if we're building, we should build together. No, even if you're giving 40 and I'm giving 20, let's do something together. So I don't want to move into, if you've already built yourself up and you don't see me as value, then why would I want to move into yours? I don't want to impose on you. I want us to build together. So would you give the same advice to women?
Most women that meet men like that, they already know he's the asset. She's not delusional. She's not stupid. The woman that met that guy that has all of those things, she already know he's an asset.
And the man who meets the woman who has all of those things and he's moving and doesn't see her as the asset?
He knows he can't benefit from her assets comfortably without her disrespecting him. He knows that he cannot leech off of her assets without her disrespecting him. He knows that. And if a man doesn't know that, he's a fool. 100% fool. Because it only takes one argument for his reality to come crumbling. His reality coming. It's like taking a snowball and taking the top of the hill and rolling it down. By the time you get there, it's humongous. Reality is, if a man doesn't think like that, his mother and father are biologically related. Damn! If a man doesn't think like that, that's a fool. Reality is women aren't trained to share with men. Men are trained to share with women. We're trained to do that. We're trained to give. We're trained to, I know guys right now who would never in their million years buy a $3,000 bag, but will buy a woman they love a $3,000 bag. They would never do that for themselves. Meanwhile, he's the one that works every day. He would never do that for himself.
Right.
Never. I'm talking about, there is no bag in the world that he can see worth $3,000. But he will do it because that's what his woman wants.
But y'all will buy a $100,000 car, $10,000 chain. You buy something for yourself that's valuable to you. But it's something that's valuable to you, though. Like maybe you don't want a bag. I don't want to see you over here with no Louis Vuitton bag on your shoulder. But you got nice jewelry on, and I'm sure that's value to you. So
let me see it drive that.
It doesn't matter.
Get in your bag
My
and
bag
drive
wasn't.
Get us to point A from point B in your bag. Let's jump in your Louis Birkin bag.
But y'all like what y'all like, and we like what we like. Somebody said a car is better than a bag. Yes, sir.
100%. Come on, 100%. Not even close. But reality is, I get what you're saying, and I'm just being fair. I think healthy relationships are two people who meet each other and build up together.
Okay.
Right? I think what we should be teaching a lot of these young women is how to find men who have great potential, who are on his way to somewhere. He has a destination, and his action is proving that he's going somewhere. Stop looking for the men that literally are already all the way established, because there's no way he's going to view you as a partner.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And if a woman thinks that, she is delusional. I'm a partner. You met a man already established. Come on. That's like going to a job that's been established since 1950. You get the job and believe that you're the reason why the job winning. You crazy. They'll fire you and show you that it doesn't matter. He gonna still, look, that man fired that woman, he gonna still be who he is. He is who he is. Because he was who he was before you got there. And vice versa to a woman that's already established. She has all her stuff together. She was who she was before you got there.
Right.
You can't take credit for somebody's championship rings because you started dating a Hall of Famer.
All right. Let's switch it up. Somebody was telling me, let's switch it up. We're talking about situationships. What's a situationship to you? What do you consider a situationship?
It's a relationship that is only beneficial based on situations.
Situations like what? Explain, what is a situationship?
I was about to. Situation is such as you might mess with somebody outside of your marriage, or they might be in a relationship, right, where you dating somebody. Let's say, okay, the man has a girlfriend.
Pause. I don't want to interrupt you. Outside of that, this is not a cheating. This is two people single. What's a situationship?
Now, I better. Okay, a situationship is where we link up from time to time and we have fun, and it's no strings attached, no where you at, who you with, none of that. It's fun. It's not no real commitment to it. There's no real commitment. There's no real baseline to like, this is what it is, right? Because again, if you're in my situationship, ain't no way you can call me like, who you with? Why you there? I ain't got to explain to you when I'm leaving and where I'm going.
Do you think that who do you think ends up wanting a relationship? Okay, no. I feel like the woman ends up, you're right.
Ask that first.
The woman.
Ask that first.
Who do you think wants I'm going somewhere with this, guys. Who do you think ends up wanting something from? But do you feel like men can't handle also if that woman is out there with someone else? Like if she comes to you and says...
the man that can't do that is either a very controlling man because he's very selfish. So he knows that he don't want to take you serious, but yet still he portrays as if he want to take you serious. So he's sleeping with you and he's jealous of other men, because there are men that are intimidated by another man sleeping with a woman. They're very intimidated by that. There are men who are not comfortable with their manhood. Y'all know what I mean by that, right? Who's worried about another man touching the womb that he doesn't feel superior in. Right. So, but reality is there are men that are like that. There are men that they're very selfish. I want the woman just for me, even though they have no true intentions for her, but they're just very selfish. And there are men who genuinely care for the woman, right? And they really don't want no one else touching it because he has true intentions for her. But I do believe more in the first case.
Do you think men call it situationships just because they fear commitment? So this question came from, I have a friend. And he was in a situation.
To her.
They fear commitment to that. Her. So
she might have good qualities, but it's not all the way meeting what he wants.
He said he was in a situationship for almost 3 years. So I told him, that's a relationship. You know what I mean? That's a relationship. Because I don't think I would allow myself to be with someone for 3 years and not have a title, but that's just me. Because if we're not saying in 3 years, I'm just sleeping with you, you just sleeping with, allegedly, you just sleeping with me, because most men ain't going to say they sleeping around.
Most women ain't either.
Okay, but if she comes to him and says to him, what are we? And he's like, Or she says, well, I'm not seeing nobody. He says he's not seeing nobody, but he told me he was. He said I was doing me, but he also didn't want her to be doing her.
So let me ask you a question. If you take a man and a woman,
right,
and they're sleeping with no strings attached, who do you think benefits the most in that situation?
And if you take a man
They're
and a
sleeping
woman,
together with no strings attached.
we both benefiting.
The man is benefiting by far. Just so you know that. The more bodies you get, the worse you are to the dating world. The more bodies you get, the more respect the woman will get. I ain't never, like I tell you all the time, I've never heard a woman say, yo, I want me a virgin man.
Yeah,
I want me a man that's a virgin. Right. He is purified. I've never heard a woman say that. I've never heard men say that. I've never heard a woman say that. Right? I'm just being honest. I'm not going to say there aren't women or there are like that. But for the most part, I never heard it.
I just feel like we need to get out of, I think a lot of men, I think some men, let me not say it, I think some men are afraid of commitment. I think some men like to have their cake and eat it too. I do agree with you that sometimes maybe that's not the girl for him, but sometimes I feel like men like to keep their options open. They don't want to commit to that because, you know, we live in a time now where it's like, listen, I'm trying to see what's out there for me. And I think that is what a lot of men do.
Agreed.
I don't think it's per se, I don't want to be with her. Because if she's a good woman and she's, you know, physically aesthetic and she, you know, embodies everything that you want, then why would you not want to commit to her? Men are just selfish. But he never said any of that.
No,
never
but I'm just
said
saying
anything.
There are women right now, there's something that's preventing you from committing. If a man is not trying to put a ring on it because he might feel like it's worthy of being married. There's a reason, but a lot of times women aren't willing to deep dive and evaluate themselves to see why he hasn't committed. If a woman says, me and the man been together for 15 years, it says volumes about her. 15 years he didn't feel like he had to commit to you? That's a bad thing. That's not a good thing. That means you gave him the kitchen sink, the house keys, everything before you even got the ring. So maybe a kid and all. So why does the need to get married to you when you already got everything?
How long do you think people should be dating for until they're official?
I think that's a case-to-case basis. I don't want to give a number. I think it's a case-to-case basis. And the reason why I say that is because it could be somebody's in college. Okay. Somebody's still trying to get into their career. They might know that you're the one. An engagement has no real time limit on it. An engagement is a promise that I want to marry you.
Not engagement. I'm saying
I'm just saying.
So you say your boyfriend and girlfriend.
You can engage that person.
Are we asking people that nowadays? Or like when you're dating, are grown people saying like, what are we? Is that a thing? Or is it just kind of assumed? No, we're not talking about marriage. I'm saying you're dating someone. When does it become official where it's like, okay, it's just me and you. Now we're, what's the word? I'm drawing a blank. Now we're exclusive. When are we exclusive? Like how do you?
I think if I had to give my daughter advice, don't sleep with that man at least until you meet his parents.
Oh, yeah.
That would be my perfect advice to a woman. Do not sleep with
him?
Yes.
Until you meet his parents?
Yes.
So if his parents ugly, then you're not going to sleep with him?
No, because I think if he takes you serious, he'll be more conscious.
I like the way your mother looks. I want to sleep with you.
Most men do not bring women around their parents unless they're serious
intentional about her.
I think a woman like you, she going to bring you around. Y'all can have all the problems in the world, she's still going to bring you around. 100%. I think more men are more conscious with who they bring around their parents than women. I've been around women's kids and I just met them that night. I'm like, that's crazy. True. I'm like, yo, she got a kid in the
Uncle
V
Q,
with us.
not Uncle Q.
Right? But again, there's people that's in the car, their kid right now sitting in the car. I'm like, yo, your kid is here. And I hate to say this, if there's 10 women, I think more than half women are like that.
Why, ladies? Can I ask you women on the live, why do some women do that? My kids never met anybody but their dad. But I'm just saying, why is it that sometimes we are so quick to bring men around our children and we don't even know these men?
They're looking for a daddy for their child. And I understand it. And I respect it. And I'm not disrespecting them. Because a lot of the times, women come in with pure intentions when they're having sex or trying to get intimate with a guy. Right. I'm being fair. They come in with pure intentions. I think a lot of times there are two types of women that are crazy, Shay. There are ones that men make crazy and the ones that come crazy. The woman that you make crazy is the craziest woman you'll ever meet. Because a lot of the times you misread her, the truth about what your true intentions was. And that's usually the craziest woman. So sometimes when you see women that can't never get over you and they trying to hurt you wholeheartedly, it's because you did not lead with your true intentions. You led with faulty intentions, and now this woman is with the smoke. And now you're mad at it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I got a woman like that in my life. When I was a lot younger, she's with the smoke because I didn't lead with my true intentions. I lied. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think if I led with my true intentions, I would like to believe that she wouldn't be as upset as she is. Would she still be upset? Yes. But would she be less angry? Yes. She'd be more punctual because of the fact that I didn't lie to her, right? Unless she's extremely just crazy. But in most cases, most women that are extremely crazy It's because a lot of dudes be capping to them, man. They be lying to them.
Don't men, can I ask you this, holding our men accountable? If you know,
I just did.
I'm just asking you a question now. Holding our men accountable to this. If you don't think, if this woman has children and you know your intentions is not to be a daddy, because you said they're looking for men to be daddies, so we're going to go off of that. So why are you coming around? Why don't, listen, what is it about men where they don't have the discernment to say, you know what? I don't want to come to an event where your children are, your parents are. I don't think it's time. I'm not ready for that
trying
yet.
To be nice.
Yeah, but why can't you just say no?
We've been trained for years, Shay, and I'm going to be honest with you. That's why a lot of women don't like me. I've been trained for years to always never hold a woman accountable. You know, there's a saying, and every man in this room could say, no matter what your mother do wrong, she's always right because she's your mother. That's a true saying that's been embedded in our culture. Like to the point where if you say anything to a woman, you looked at as wrong. So you've been trained like that for generations, for years. Anytime your mother do something wrong, you be like, they're going to say that's your mom, no matter what. The fathers don't get the same level of grace that in most cases that mothers do. A mother can be absolutely wrong, but you can't say anything to them. And it's been trained. And the people that don't agree with it, I bet you if you go ask the people that's in their personal life, how many times have you had to bite your tongue for women? They're gonna say thousands of times. And I'm not trying to make it a man or a woman thing. I'm making it an honest thing. Most women we're trained as men to be very conscious of their feelings. So sometimes there's two types of liars. One liar is a liar that just is a liar. The second liar is because they don't want to hurt your feelings. I think they have two different purposes. They both liars, but one liar just don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want to tell you the truth because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So I do believe that there are a lot of men that say, you know what, I don't want to say it to you because I already know where it's going to go. So they'll lie to you. They'll just lie to you. It's just like, how do I look at this? If I tell her she looks bad, it's going to be a war. If I tell her she looks good, I get to go on with my night happy. You know what, you look fire. Yo, I'm lying. Watch this. Ask most men right now, if you have a woman in the room, she comes in the room, you know she don't look good in something. Most men will say she looks good in it because they just don't want to argue. It's either my peace or an argument. Right. Most men are going to choose peace. So they're going to say, yo, you look good in that. Go on with your day. I'm saying you going to got with that crap. And the reason being is because they don't want the argument. And that's what most men been trained. Like my mom can do something, but you know what? I'll be honest with you, I don't recall my mom ever even apologizing. Most women don't even like to apologize, Shay.
I agree with that.
They just don't like to.
I agree with that.
But it's a trained culture. But the women that's on it, they go be like, I apologize. They probably lying.
But I know a lot of men that don't like to apologize too, Q. I know a lot of men that say it in my...
Effeminate.
I know a lot of men that don't like to apologize too. That they will they will sit in jail on that before they apologize.
But you know one of the number one statements on masculine energy is accountability? One of the number one traits of masculine energy is accountability. One of the number one traits that is not masculinity is the lack of accountability. Masculine energy is accountable. If we win, lose, or draw, I'm willing to deal with the consequences. That's why you have so many snitches in the world. Because they're not masculine men. You out in the streets and you ain't even masculine. You got to be willing to deal with the consequences of your choices and your decisions. This is the reality. Most people are not accountable.
So the only type of men that don't apologize are men that are not masculine.
Very feminine. Unless he believes that he's truly right. Just because you might feel he's wrong, he might not feel he's wrong. Right? But if I'm talking about a man that knows he's wrong, he's willing to apologize faster than a woman. I promise you that. I promise you. Men are way more willing to say sorry than women. In most cases. There are women that are like that. But they're few and far in between. Yeah. You know what a woman should do? She'll cook your favorite meal. That's her way of saying sorry. I'm lying, Jay? I'm lying, Jay?
Why are you asking me like you heard that I cook somebody their favorite meal?
I'm not saying, but you know that's reality. They don't like to apologize.
I mean, listen, here we go. Women can't handle the truth. I think that women, we do have an issue with apologizing. I think that it's when we feel like we're right, and we don't want to apologize. And we apologize with a lot of buts behind it, like, agreed. I'm sorry, but. So I'm like, you're right.
Did if you did.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Well, you're right.
You know why I don't read the comments? Because, like, again, a lot of the men on this live, and I'm being respectful, right? There are some that never had that much experience with women, but they have a voice and an opinion. You got some guys right now that are video gamers who sit at home all day, do not mess with girls, do not get girls, and they will voice their opinion in the comments. So the reality is, I don't get so infatuated with what somebody's saying and not saying. I speak in my truth. I can go to my neighborhood, and my neighborhood will say I'm the man. I'm on my live saying that, and I know there's people from my town in my live. I've always been him. I've always been popular. I've always been somebody. Okay. I'm just saying shit. I've never had an issue. That's low vibrational, but I'm just saying, right? But I've never had an issue with women.
Right.
So a lot of the times you have to be mindful that who are you getting your advice from? A lot of these guys don't have the receipts that warrant that they were really messing with a lot of girls. They going off their one chapter, their one little experience, and a lot of times they was put on a clothesline in the yard and was hung out to dry in that relationship. They wasn't the man in that relationship. They wasn't the man. They was a pooper. They was a puppy. They was walked all over. And they gonna be like, well, I feel like, yeah, because you're talking from what you've seen. I'm talking from what I experienced. I experienced a lot of women. And in my days, I'm talking from experience. I'm telling you, whether wrong, right, or indifferent, most women they're not gonna apologize. Okay?
I agree.
It's just not.
Do you feel that? So Shay, you even said like
That's how you know Lance a virgin.
Women are like, if they're right, they're right. Q, do you feel like sometimes when a man knows he's right, like he just compromises and apologizes just to
He's looking to move the situation forward. If you're sitting there always caring about being right, you're gonna be wrong in a lot of cases. Because again, sometimes you care about preserving the relationships. As an adult, preserving relationships is saying, you know what? This is not a life or death situation. It is not that serious. So reality is, you know what? Babe, I apologize. What we cooking? It's not that he's wrong because it's just not that serious. If every conversation or problem is a battle, man, you're gonna have wars in your house every day. Every time you're gonna have battles, you're gonna have wars in your house every day. Because the whole goal is to learn from each other so we can move on. How do we move forward? It's not about proving you wrong. I gotta prove you wrong. That's a very feminine man.
Can I ask you, why is it that sometimes in arguments, some men, and are we going to equate this to because he's feminine and not masculine as well? Why is it that some men get so disrespectful when they argue with their women? Why are they so quick to call her out of her name or just as an attack when they're in an argument or when they're in a debate or when they're in a disagreement? Why is it that you have a lot of men that'll resort to just disrespect?
I think because a lot of times the experience of what they've seen in a heated exchange of words, that's what they saw. I think that person that acts like that saw that. It's proven that a man that comes from, let's say, domestic violence, he's more inclined to repeat that. A man that comes from verbal abuse, a woman that comes from being verbally abused or seeing her mother verbally abuse a man, she's more inclined to do that. Whatever you saw as your normality is your normal. And you don't even see it as wrong unless you go around somebody who's like, what the hell is this? This is something I've never seen before. I remember one time, there's a video that went viral, right? The boy was a black kid. He's sitting in a room. The white kid yelled at the mom. Like, Mom, I'm tired of your crap. And then he said, yo, you talk to your mom like that? He said, of course. She has to respect me. This is a white kid. The black kid went home and tried that. His teeth got punched down his throat. What I'm trying to say is he was exposed to something, but he forgot for a second he got a black mom. He forgot that his mom was black, right? Because he saw something that he saw, and he said, I'm gonna try this crap too. But I do believe that a lot of times, and that goes both ways in a positive manner. If I grew around a man that had very high work ethic, I am more inclined to have a high work ethic. Right. If I grew around very low work ethical people, I'm more inclined to have, there are exceptions. And the people that are the exceptions, they make them the standard. That's not reality. Section 8 wouldn't be passed on for so many generations if it wasn't a normality. People have a mentality based on what they were taught. So therefore, again, we only regurgitating what we've seen as our normality. And again, if you're not exposed to anything new, then there is no cross-reference to it being new because that's all you saw. You look at a person like they supposed to know that. That's not true. Not because of age, it's because of experience. You can say Chase is supposed to know better because of the experiences you gave him. He's traveled. He's seen different countries. There's some people that have never even left their projects.
But I agree with you, and I think that's the same grace that should be granted unto certain women. How you say it about men, that maybe they grew up with a single mom.
Same way.
Maybe they grew up in a certain
Same
thing.
way.
I think sometimes some women, the aggression or maybe the lack of knowing how to apologize comes from the fact that you may have grown up in a house where you didn't see that. So,
Agreed.
I mean, that's how you learn to communicate.
Agreed.
Now it's like, you know what? I didn't see, a girl may have never seen her dad apologize to her mom. And it's not just the mother.
Agreed.
So now she doesn't know how to apologize. You know, I feel like I told you, I grew up, and I'm putting my business out there, I grew up with like my mom and my stepdad, they used to argue a lot.
I'm telling
Used
her.
to argue a lot. You don't care. Used to argue a lot. And we grew up kind of just like, we heard it and it was just like, whatever. But that's how I learned to communicate when I started dating initially. It was just like, you know what? We would yell, we would argue until I started dating someone that was just like, this is not what we do. I don't communicate like this. This is not how I talk. And it wasn't because he grew up in a 2-family household or whatever. It was because he was just like, this is not what we do. And it kind of took me back. Like, what you mean? Like, what do you mean? You made me mad. Yo, I'm gonna give you a second to cool off. I'll call you back, or I'm gonna see you later. And that made me more mad until it became my norm. And then I learned how to communicate because he was like, I'm not doing this. You know what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes it takes just experiencing that for you to learn how to, because I didn't know that growing up. I didn't know that growing up. I knew the toxicity. I knew the arguments. I knew that, listen, when my mother wanted to get her point across, she yelled. When my stepdad wanted to get his point across, he yelled. And that's just what we did. From little girl to whatever. So I'm going to yell until someone said, you're not yelling at me. And I'm not yelling at you. We don't communicate like that. So
you did some self-evaluation.
I did. I had to.
I'm telling you, most humans can't do that. They just can't. Let me ask you something. Do you know your stepfather's aesthetics with his father?
To some degree, but he passed away when he was very young.
There you go.
Yeah, he passed away when he was very young.
There you go. He didn't have the masculine energy teaching him how to be a man. So a lot of times, I don't give it as an excuse, but we have to understand that is a measure into reasoning to why behavior is behavior, right? If I go to a school that didn't teach me mathematics, I can't be mad. You can't be mad at the fact that the kid don't know mathematics.
Yeah, cute. But on the flip side, I told you, you've spoken to both my stepdad and my biological dad, and they're both men. But my dad grew up in a single mother household. My grandmother had 6 kids, and my dad is probably one of the most manly men that I know.
Okay.
And just how even though he was raised by a single mom, the role he had to take on from a young age as a boy to a man, and just who he's always been. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you could come from the same upbringing, but choose different paths.
Agreed.
You know,
but the same breath, a man takes the hardship role, right? I'm gonna tell you something. One of the reasoning for me, seeing that I grew up without a father, is I took the easy road. Selling drugs was the easy road, Shay. It's the easy road. So reality is that's what I did. So a man teaches you how to work hard as a man and not look for the easy way. The men that look for the easy way is because they're taught to look for the easy way. There's always going to be some level of aesthetics that's missing. It's like a great recipe, but it's missing some ingredients. It can still taste good, but it would have tasted better if it had. You understand what I'm saying? And that's me. I would have been a better man earlier if I had certain ingredients in my recipe. I've overall became a great recipe, but it took me years of self-evaluating and looking for those recipes that I needed, those ingredients, right? I needed those ingredients, so I had to figure it out and find it, right? And I had to be self-aware,
right,
to the point where I wasn't fighting logic, because initially my feelings meant more than logic,
right,
to the point where you couldn't tell me nothing. You could have a whole family, a whole kid, I have no kid, and I'm still gonna argue with you because of how I think. That's a fool. And again, that person hasn't looked in the mirror and did something called self-evaluation.
Right.
Whether male or female, people have to get comfortable with having these uncomfortable conversations so they can see this. I'm pretty sure the man your father is today, if I was to sit with your father and talk to him one-on-one, there's a lot of trial and error in that life.
Oh, for sure.
But that's what I'm saying. But again, if his dad was there, it would be less trial and error. It would be less.
So it's crazy, right? So my dad's
Not
father,
all cases, though. Let me say that.
My dad's father, so my grandmother she had 2 kids, one guy, and then 4 kids, another guy, right?
Okay.
So my dad's father started slowly but surely coming into his life. You said my grandmother was outside? No, she wasn't.
I'm joking.
She had 6 kids by 2 guys.
I was joking.
Don't be trying to play my grandmother. But I feel like,
Get it, Grandma.
so now my grandfather is trying, he's been trying to come back into my dad's life over the years. And my dad is, my dad's 60 something now. So now he's like, yo, F this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do I need him to be here for? But you know what's so crazy? My dad on the flip side will say at 60 something will be like, I guess I'm gonna call him. I'm like, I thought you said F him. What you calling him for? But I feel like there's still a part of my father that at 60 something years old still wants to get to know his father and still wants to, it's like he'll act tough like he don't care, but on the flip side, like, oh yeah, he said he coming, so I'm gonna go see them and hang around them. And I'm like, but just the other day you said you didn't care. So I feel like you always,
still his father.
You always miss that, And at 60 something, I'm watching my dad almost look like a baby. And I'm like, you want to go see your daddy. You know what I'm saying? But he won't admit it. But in little words and little things that he says, it's like he still wants to know him. He still wants to,
It's his dad. But if you take
that.
If you you have a heart, right?
Yeah.
It's a heart. If I cut it in half and I give you half and I keep half, do I have a whole heart?
No.
Why?
Because you gave away half.
And that's what a child is when he doesn't have both of his parents.
Yeah.
It's something missing. It's always going to be something missing.
Yeah.
And the reason, only luck is a mother can find out, you know what? Let me put this boy or this girl around more men to show her how to receive men, meaning how men talk to them. For instance, your mother bring home a stepfather that opens the door for the little girl. The stepfather takes the daughter out and the son out, hey, let's go throw the football around. You're showing him certain behaviors that should be normalized. But if that man comes home and pays that man no attention, that man will always be a boy and he will continue most patterns that he saw.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people aren't fighting themselves, they fighting what they didn't learn.
Yeah.
Whether male or female. A submissive woman has to be taught that, Shay. Think about the logic. If a woman was a stay-at-home mom and she watched her mother do that, she's more inclined to be what? Unless she resented her mother. But in most cases, she's gonna want that same aesthetics. Vice versa. If I saw my dad get up every day and he busts his behind, he sacrificed every day, I'm willing to repeat the same thing because that's what I saw. So when people don't look at logic, logic is logic. Logic is 1 + 1 = 2. But the people that say, well, I'm doing this, I hate when people do that. I'm gonna just be honest with you. When they make the exception to the rule the rule. Well, I didn't grow up with my dad, and look at me, I turned out to be a great man. Okay, you're the exception. But there's a bunch of dudes in prison that would say otherwise. So if you taking you to make you the standard, that's diabolical. That means we're gonna basically disregard the 70% of men that's incarcerated that grew up with single parents. We're gonna disregard all of them. Because I'm the 1%, I'm the 10%, I'm a 20%, right? And that's the problem with dealing with humans. They disregard a lot of facts. And I'm like, just because you are the exception, it doesn't change the rule.
Right.
And that's the problem. I think that even as a young man, even if the dad wasn't there, if that young man, he will still seek mentorship. Even if it's in the streets. Because mentorship looks to the environment. For instance, if I grew up in a controlled environment, mentorship looked like basketball coaches. Mentorship looked like the police officer. It looks like different. But if I grew up in the hood, mentorship looked like the drug dealer.
Right.
Mentorship looked like the street guys, the gang guys. It depends on where that person comes from. If I come from a poverty environment, more than likely, mentorship will be something that fits the aesthetics of the environment I'm from. But again, it's just humans. They just don't want to hear it. I'm like, we got to learn that everyone grows different. And their experience is their story. And that's why they're the way they are. And sometimes, again, I tell you, when I say things about women, it's because they never had a strong man. It's to the point where nowadays, society are trying to get rid of masculine men. They hate masculine men. Because a masculine man is firm. He speaks his piece. Your dad is not, he's going to say what he said, and he's going to say what he said. But if you grew around a man like that, guess what? You're more likely to be willing to accept something like that.
Why do you think society is trying to get rid of masculine men?
Because a strong black man is dangerous. A conscious black man is dangerous. An educated black man is dangerous. It's been proven since the beginning of time. All of our leaders, what happened to them?
They're assassinated.
I wonder why. Because you're going to wake up too many people. They'd rather you be asleep. Because the moment you know who you are, you become very dangerous. And a man like me, they don't like me. Because I tell the truth. I don't care about what somebody's saying, their feelings. I'll tell a man to get your life together. Stop chasing women. Go chase a responsibility and put your mother in a better position. The first woman you say you love is struggling, and you're looking for somebody else to go struggle with. You didn't even take that woman out of that situation first. And you trying to look for another person? I tell that little girl, stop playing house prematurely, thinking that man gonna marry you when you already giving him all the goods. And you think he gonna love and respect you? You already gave him the whole kitchen sink. It's nothing for the eye of the vision. I seen your whole body naked, right? But again, it's just what it is. We can't look at our feelings. We have to look at logic and understand that a lot of times when I talk, the women that didn't have certain healthy aesthetics, I meet some women that get in my DM, you know what they say? Yo, my dad was just like you. My dad, and I said, was your dad a strong man? Did your dad carry his family? Yep. Because the truth of the matter is, a man is not built in comfort. A man is built in chaos. A man is not built in comfort. A man is built in chaos. A man has to learn how to be a man in chaos. Trials and tribulations is what help a man become a great man. And any man that doesn't understand that, they haven't reached the full level of manhood.
So what is your advice to some men who you feel like haven't reached that pinnacle of manhood that they need to get to, but they're in relationships, or they're in marriages, or they're fathers, or they're not fathers? Like, what advice can you give them if they're not at that level where they need to be, but they're trying to build, but they don't have the tools to build yet?
Practice humility, meaning, right? When you look at humility, it's being able to listen to people that are there and putting people around you that motivate you to do better where you at, so you don't stay where you at. In most cases, you'll never do better than where you are if you're not around people that challenge you to do better than what you are. So for instance, as a man, we're naturally motivated by who we're around, right? Women compete with who they're around. Men naturally get inspired by who they're around. I'm being honest with you, right? You can have a friend group of women who constantly compete with each other. They won't tell you, but if you ask the men that date those women, they're always talking crap about each other. That's all they do. Their relationship is built on competition. Our relationship, in most cases, men are built by learning and seeing. If a man understands that aspect, he will become great. Because again, I have to be inspired with new potentials of myself. Otherwise, I won't. Why do you think men natural love language is words of affirmation? We need to be affirmed. Because again, every human has insecurities. But I genuinely believe men are very insecure. And the reason why men are very insecure, because their responsibility is very, 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 very prominently needed, and is extreme. A man's role is extreme comparable to a woman's. The expectations of what a man is expected to do in a relationship and a woman is not the same. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And if I lie to myself and anybody on my live that lied, that means you not living in truth. Men are expected to do so much more than women.
Well, I guess the expectation versus the reality that some people are living is different, because there may be an expectation for men to do more, but a lot of people aren't living that reality.
Because they haven't had the example of their reality. That's why they falsify and pretend that they're in positions they're not. Some of the guys that are fighting is because their dad didn't teach them how to be that. So they're not fighting Q, they fighting the person that didn't teach them. The woman that's disrespecting me, she ain't disrespecting me, she didn't submit to her father. So she damn sure can't submit to me. It's impossible for her to submit to me. Unless she does the shadow work and say, I have to work on myself.
Right.
Otherwise, she's going to continue to do the same merit what she saw. It's just what it is. You're sitting in the same classroom and you're passing a test and you think you're winning. But you're in the same class every year because you haven't elevated yourself and were willing to work on yourself. But it takes a level of humility to say, hey, I need to do work on myself. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I think because I'm grown, I ain't got to, what? You can't even read comfortably through a cat in the hat book. Most adults aren't even comfortable reading out loud, and they think they're grown. You're not even comfortable reading out loud, and you think you're grown. Look at what I just said to you, Shay. That's a scary aspect. I'm talking about men and women who are scared to death to read out loud, but they tell they grown. You ain't grown, you're just a big person who can't read. And that's all. They said the average American has a reading level of 5th grade. 5th grade.
Average adult?
Average adult American has an average reading level of 5th grade. Why do you think some of the kids distracted the class when you told them to read? And that adult is still outside in reality, still with those same issues. And now that person is the person that's giving you information on how you should be as a woman. That's the person that's giving you information on how I should be as a man. These people are who we learn from, and this is the problem that we have. Social media has given anybody and everybody a platform with no receipts. No receipts. One of the guys challenged me one time, Tyler. He said, let's do a one-on-one. He wanted to see receipts. He booked a one-on-one with me. I showed him receipts.
Receipts for what? What did
He wanted me to prove to who I was, who I say I am. And again, at first he was saying you're arrogant. I said, I'm only arrogant because I'm telling my truth. If I sat on this live right now and say, hey, I'm a millionaire, he's arrogant. But what if he's really a millionaire, Shay? If a person say I'm tall and he's 6'6", is he wrong for saying he's tall? So why is it when a person tells their truth, because it makes you feel a way, it makes that person arrogant? It's the truth.
So why is it if a woman sees herself as a 10 and you feel like she's a 5, that's not her truth?
No, I just said, no, I said, watch that, I'm gonna go back to that. What I said,
I'm just saying, if opinion is opinion, then hey.
Can I say it? What I said? I said if a woman or a man think they're handsome and beautiful, they have a right to feel like that. And I'm going to say it again. I said the issue is going into the dating world and people that aren't willing to subscribe to what you believe you are, then it becomes a level of delusion. Because every time someone tries to holler at you, they're not that handsome or they're not that attractive, beautifully wise. That means maybe you're not as attractive as you think you are. It's like putting your job out, your resume out to every job, and the only people that's hiring you, that means you got to get some more credentials on your resume. Yeah? And no one's calling you back besides a particular job. I'm talking about you tried 7 years of getting a job, right? You have some people that have 10 years of receipts of not this perfect person, and they can't see that maybe I need to work on myself. That's a scary mentality when it says, hey, that means they can't see, because beauty is, and that's an ugly person saying that.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
That's an ugly person
I say
saying
that all the time.
That's an ugly person saying that.
Call me ugly?
No, the person that you're saying that about is ugly. The person you're saying that is ugly. Because beautiful is beautiful, Shay.
Yeah.
Handsome is handsome, Shay. Rich is rich. Poor is poor. Broke is broke. Tall is tall. Short is short. No matter how you try to move the goalposts, the reality will always be the reality. And some people aren't comfortable with it because, again, it don't fit into the reality that they want.
Right.
So I'm going to move the goalposts. I'm going to move the goalposts. And there is no in between. Truth is truth. A lie is a lie. Men are more attracted to this. Women are more attracted to this. It's just what it is. We got to call it what it is. I think that's why people don't like me, because I'm so honest.
So what would you rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10?
I'm a little above average looking. Am I Boris Kojo? No. No. If I sat here and
After
said,
you rate yourself, what do you
I said
think
I'm
you
above
are?
average. Average is 5. I'm above average.
Okay, so give yourself from 1 to 10.
I fall into 6 or 7s.
Okay.
I'm not a 10. I'm not an 8. But my pockets make me a 10.
Oh. I know that's right. Ew.
The truth. A woman could be a 6 or 7 and be an 8 or a 9
Because of how
because
she is.
she is as a woman.
I agree.
I understand what men become more valuable because of, and I know what women become more valuable because of.
So average is a 5. Anything over a 5 is above average for
Yes.
men and women.
Would you agree?
Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying it's what it is. Someone said his mindset is healthy. Like I said, I'm not in delusion.
Right.
And my reality is I know I can, Shay, you know I can get women. I'm not worried about that. And I'm not saying that to talk arrogant because somebody in there, he thinks he's all of that. No, you think I'm all of that. You're projecting with your insecurities on me. And that's the problem we're having these conversations. People are delusional. I know I can bag a girl that's a little bit better looking than average. So that kind of represents my life. My girl is cute.
It's beautiful.
And I'm not saying that because I know my girl's attractive. My girl is acting respectfully. I went to school with her. She was one of the more beautiful side girls that was in my neighborhood. I'm saying, so again, but I've always had that. And I was always able to get that. Not because of just my looks, but because how I am as a masculine man. Women are very attracted to that. A man could be less good looking and better looking because of how confident he is too. So if a man doesn't understand certain things that can up his grade, he's a fool. Just like a woman who can't understand how to up her grade, she's a fool. Think about this. An argumentative, combative woman who's fairly attractive, she actually loses value
I agree.
in the dating world. So, right, look at this. She's a 10, right? Fire looking. She opened her mouth, she became a whole 6. And it says it because she got baby daddies and no love, no husband. It says it. How you that beautiful and can't get a husband? Because maybe you need to do some shadow work. Because a very fairly attractive woman can get a husband.
Right.
Because she knows who she is as a woman. And she works on herself and she do things maybe that this man likes. It's levels to life. But some people just don't like the truth. So let me ask you that same question. What do you think you are on a 1 through 10?
I don't like to go above average. I'm always going to say 5, 6. I always say that because I feel like that's fair.
6 is above average.
But I feel like 5, 6. I feel like I'm not one of those people. I know a lot of women that
Give
be
you a
like, I'm a
7.
10. I'm a 10.
What'd you give her, Ty?
I'm a 9. I'm an 8. I'm a
What'd you
this.
give
I
it,
don't
Ty?
like that. Don't go.
7.
Yeah.
What'd you guys give her?
Mentality. 7.
Is that mentality?
Nah, shit.
I don't like when people be like,
I
I don't like when people be like, I'm an 8, I'm a 9, I'm a 10.
Somebody said-
I'm
somebody
like,
said
no,
an 8.
I ain't going crazy like that.
Yeah,
I'll
7,
put
8.
myself right in average.
What I would say
I'll
is,
put myself right in the 5 or 6. I'll be good with that.
But what I would say is, what makes Shay more attractive?
Oh, thanks, God.
is her
That's at
work
a 4.
ethic. Don't worry about that. Right? Sometimes it's because he might not like the way you say.
Right. You say he might be ugly. You're so stupid.
Right? So he said can't use a 7. She said 6 though, guys.
Yeah, I said 5, 6. I never said 7.
Somebody said great personality. Look,
Yeah.
you make yourself more attractive to men when you really know your looks.
Right.
There are some people that make themselves. I've met girls that are not attractive, and they really believe that they're ill, and it makes them less attractive. I'm like, yo, you're so arrogant for someone that's not that cute. And they be like, well, I'm like, you ever notice the videos where the ugly friend always got the most mouth? She always got something to say. She needs to learn her value. Block that person, Dre. Let's keep doing that, please. Right? It's too much. Right? Block it. But again, if you're not living in your truth, that means you're living in your lie. And it's okay. Everyone is not the most attractive person, but you have to learn what can up my value as far as my looks.
Right.
Right? I met some big girls who are fly. Fly big girls who not wearing things they shouldn't be wearing. They know they big girls and they know how to dress. It's like the woman that has extreme cleavage, but she wearing stuff that's too much for her cleavage. She should know that. Right? It's like the bigger guy that wears clothes that are too tight. He should know he shouldn't wear that. He got too much butt. Yo, you gotta know who you are as a human. And if you don't have that level of discernment, that means you immature with yourself. You immature with yourself, right? This is what it is.
So how handsome do Q say he gives himself a 6.
6'7".
Yeah.
6'7".
But I think looks and everything. I'm gonna give my bro 8.5. Y'all not gonna play him. I'm gonna give him a
I don't
solid
mind.
8.5.
Somebody said a 9.
Somebody said a 9.
I'll take it.
I'm gonna
Okay,
give
I'll
my
take a
bro
solid 6.
8.5.
I take the 5. Lawrence, that's gay. We're dating the man, judging the man. That's a little fruity. I'm just saying, I would never judge a man based on looks. Because reality is, why I judge it? That's
Women,
fruity.
we all do that.
Men don't judge men. That's fruity. That's fruity. Fruity. Fruity.
Miss Carter said a
Fruity.
good 9.
Let me tell you why. Look. I'm gonna tell you why. When a man judges a woman based on looks, is because he's not what? Attracted
Somebody
to her.
said, I'm a man,
Well,
bros
stay
are
with me,
too.
Shay. A man looks at a woman based on his attraction. So if I say she's a 5, it's based on my attraction of what I see her. So if a man is basing a man on his looks, I've met some guys, I'm gonna be honest with, I'm like, he hit. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. I've met guys like, he hit. He better be very nice. He better be very funny. He better be very, very funny. Like, he better be ill. Like, you gotta find out, you're not that attractive, but you better know what works for you.
So you could say a man ugly, but you can't say a man's good
No, I've
looking?
seen guys that said that he's hit.
Have you ever said a man was handsome? Can you say a man is good looking?
Yes.
Okay.
But if you say, yo, you a 6.
So why you said that's gay? He gave
you
a
a
rating
6 or
based
you
on...
a 7.
Wow,
You a
that's
4.
crazy.
So if I'm a 10, he gonna say I'm fire?
You...
That's a little crazy.
How tall am I? I'm like almost 5'8". I'm like 5'7.5". But I say 5'8".
Manny, say it, Manny. We don't judge men looks, right,
Yeah.
Manny?
I'm
see
tall.
my man
I'm on
Manny
the
laughing.
taller side, guys. I'm on the taller side.
Men don't give number ratings. That's a whole fact. Men don't do that. That's weird. We never do that. That's weird. If we could tell who that is, that's weird. I'm telling you as a man, we don't do that. I've seen guys, I'm like, fam, you're not the most attractive guy, so you better become a little funny. Start getting some jokes. Because I'm going to tell you something. He could win that woman's heart with being funny, charismatic, confident, knowing who he is. He can win that woman's
But
heart.
can I ask you this? Is that a little insecurity on the men's side, men in the live? Because how come women, we could do it no problem?
Because
women could sit here and be
do
like,
fruity
oh,
stuff
she's a
every
this,
day.
she's a that.
Y'all
So
get
why
dressed
is
in
it
front of
that?
each other?
But if you're a secure man,
Shay,
why
if your
can't you
husband
do
got
that?
dressed in front of a man, you would think he fruity.
I don't like getting dressed in front of people.
But I'm just saying, women do it every day.
That's true.
That's why we don't worry about
But
it.
y'all be going in the locker room and getting naked.
No.
At the gym and stuff.
Excuse
Y'all going
me,
to
yo,
showers in
listen, ladies and
jail. Y'all
gentlemen,
be having to do
that's
it.
gay. That's white men. I'm sorry, that's white men. That's gay men and white men. I'm sorry. Black men do not get dressed in front of men in the locker room. We try to go to the end store where nobody's at.
So all y'all run into the same end store?
We wait. No, ain't no turnaround. We ain't doing that. Right? We go to the end store. I'm just being honest with you. Men
I
don't
said
get dressed in
turnaround.
front of men. Like, that's just weird. I'm just being honest. Right? But again, somebody gonna say, he's insecure. I'm like, I guess I've been a man my whole life. I just know in the locker room, I don't know a bunch of men who want, I played football my whole life. Right? Even at a higher level in football.
Right.
So reality is most men don't feel comfortable getting naked in front of men. And if they do, I'm a little worried. And I'm not disrespecting anybody that choose the same sex. That's their business. Right? But again, we wait, and that's it. A lot of men, they're just weird. Like, if
Wait,
you
did I tell?
judge a
I
man
just want
looks
to
is
let this out.
crazy.
So, guys, I think I talked about this on the live a long time ago. We have this friend. He says he's a straight guy, Colombian guy. We were having a conversation, and we were all talking about threesomes back in the day when I was bartending. You remember this? You remember this conversation? So we were like, okay, with a girl. So the girls were asking like,
like that.
oh, would you have a threesome with a girl and another guy or two guys? So I was like, oh, if I was to ever have a threesome, I'm going to do it with a girl and another guy. Because I feel like a threesome with two guys is definitely a train. That's crazy. So he said he had a threesome with his girlfriend and another guy. So we were like, okay, okay. So how does that work? I mean, we're all grown. We've all seen pornography. We know what it goes. So he said, in a threesome, I'm lying. His girl wanted to do a threesome with him. He said, if is a train, two guys, come on, I'm not, that's too much work.
DM me, guys. That want that me to talk to the students.
He said if he did a threesome with his girl and another guy, and the guy gave him oral sex, and it happened at one time, then that's not gay. Because that's not something that he does.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
That's what he said.
Can I ask you a question, though?
What?
If you got a guy that you started talking to, he said, I had a sexual encounter with a guy once, but I'm not gay, would you talk to him? Why? Why?
Because I do think that's gay.
So there
But
we
I'm
go.
not saying based off of my opinion. I'm asking you guys as men. This is what he said. This is what.
I'm not
So
doing
let
it.
me ask you this. Let's say a girl had a threesome with a guy and another girl, and she went down on a girl, but she says, I'm not a lesbian. Would you look at her?
I think it's
like,
more,
why is it different
I'ma
for
tell you
men than
something.
women?
True
I'm
story.
asking
Masculine
you.
men, two a man and a woman is fruity, right?
Say that again.
Two men and a girl is fruity, right? Fruity. I'm sorry, I don't care what nobody say. Fruity, right? But a girl and a girl is sexy. And what makes it weird is the penetration. I'm sorry.
So why can a girl go down on another girl and it's not looked at as she's a lesbian or
men will
bisexual?
see that as sexy, though.
But I'm asking
She
you.
is
But I'm asking you,
bisexual.
what is the? So you would think she is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bisexual mean you try different genders of sex.
Okay.
Genders of sex. If you bisexual mean if you mess with a boy, you mess with a girl, that's bisexual.
Okay.
But to a guy that's straight, a guy that mess with a girl and a guy's gay. Doesn't matter.
So
he's
him
gay.
letting a dude go down on him in a threesome, he's gay.
Come on, Shay.
He's not bisexual. He's gay.
Listen, respectfully, like, come on, guys. Like, right? It's just what it is. To the average man, a man that dates a man or messed with a man before is gay. There is no such thing as bi once a man touches a man. That means he's gay to a guy. To the average man.
But some guys back in the day used to run train on girls with their homeboys. So that's, I mean, come on.
But some of those guys were weird. And that's what you're starting to see now. Those guys are starting to show that they've been gay. So again, I've never done nothing like that in my life.
Okay.
Have we went behind a man after a man left her? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why they made condoms. This is what it is. That's what's called a choo-choo. Right? But I'm just saying, we ain't gonna go in there. But I'm just saying, when you look at logic, you have to understand that aesthetically nowadays in society, the goalpost is constantly getting removed and moved and moved and moved and moved to the point where they're making people that look like masculine men feel guilty for being masculine men. They're trying to change the demographics. Masculine energy always create healthy people, Shay.
Why are you switching our conversation from
No, I'm
sex?
just
We're
saying,
getting into because we're
that's
trying to
weird.
get into. Why is it? We
I'm
don't
not
have
trying
to
to go
talk
crazy
about
about
the that. But we
You
have to.
saying?
But this is
No, but-
adult
but-
conversation. We're not talking about the threesome. Now let's talk about guys on the live. Have any of you ever broken up with men? Have you ever broken up with a woman because of sex? And women, have you ever broken up with a man because of sex? Do you think that plays such an important role in a relationship? Like, let's say you had a man, ladies, this for my ladies. If you had a man and he was providing and he was
Jay Shaw, 'cause
caring and
you
he
a
was
real man,
everything,
Jay Shaw, that's why.
would you break up with him if the D was whack?
I'm asking my
I want to hear my ladies. Would you break up with a man? Is that a deal breaker? If the D is whack and everything else is good, are you out of there?
Like that person too, Jay? I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest
it's
with
very
you.
important. I don't know
I
about
would
that
say
money.
most
I got
people
my
do.
own. Yeah.
I will say this, and I'm gonna be honest. I think more women will stay with a man whose D is bad because of his earnings. I think more men are dick. I'll be honest with you. I think more men are dick. What is that?
So you think
It's called a
that
freak. It's
somebody
called a
say I'm
freak.
gone. Grim
It's
Reaper said
called
I'm
a
gone.
freak.
For sure, they gone. So you think most men would stay over the woman that would stay?
I
You
think no.
most
I
women
think
would-
more women will stay with a guy that got good money. He can't have that sexually and be not financially stable. I think more women are. I think more women fake their orgasms than men.
Oh, we do.
I'm be honest, I don't.
We definitely
saying?
do.
Look, I said
Definitely
think. I
so.
said, look, she said they do. So
Yeah.
like whoever you are, he's answering for lady. Like, come on, weirdo.
So I think a lot of men think they
Weird.
really putting in that work. And I think some women just kind of want to be like, to get it done and over with, what can I do?
Shay, you know
Okay,
a
I
lot of
know
people don't know
what
on
it
this
is.
live. I talk more to the average human than the average human.
Why? What did someone say?
No, because they don't understand how many one-on-ones I do and how much talking I do to people. They have no clue. I talk to a lot of people. It took me years of once I now, like you sit there and say, Spanish cultures. I'm like, that ain't true. That's a generic thing across the board. You got Spanish families that have single fathers, single mothers. It's every culture. But again, what they exploit is what people that don't have access to other cultures think is normal. Right? And that's just what it is. I just feel like people got to grow up.
Do you think if you met a girl and she, first of all, have you ever had a one-night stand?
Come on. Come on.
I'm not asking you a question. I've never had a one-night stand, so I'm asking you, have you ever had a one-night stand?
Most guys that travel a lot definitely had a one-night stand.
Guys on the live, have you ever had a one-night stand?
Somebody
and do
gonna
you
lie.
judge every one-night stand? Like, do you feel like every girl that you had a one-night stand with, do any men think that that's someone that they could take home? Could there be a situation where, okay, it was a one-night
Can I
stand,
be
but
fair?
she's,
Can I be fair?
have you ever dated a one-night
Can I be
stand?
fair? No.
Sure.
No. And I'm gonna be honest with you, ladies, if you
Somebody
ever
said plenty.
Ladies, if you ever done a one-night stand, I will recommend that you do not tell them. Do not. Some things are better left not said. And you're gonna say it's insecure. No, he's not gonna take you serious. Because I told you, men think that they want to think that their woman is an angel. Nobody wants to think their woman was outside in
He
traffic.
said, you're.
You know what I'm saying? You just got to keep it to yourself. Take it to your grave. You, that person, in God. In God. That's all I need to know. In God. Take it to your grave. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm keeping it 100 with you.
But look what
You know
TJ
I'm saying?
said, plenty, and sometimes she can become wifey or have wife potential. He's the one, but maybe listen. I've never had a one night
if
stand.
she
I'm just
really-
asking.
Listen, Shay.
Maybe
I'll be honest with you.
maybe he feels
If
like
you
that.
But see, social media made it bad because back in my generation, social media wasn't as like there. So now you can have a woman who can move to another state. She can become a whole new person. I'm being honest. She could. Now it's not so possible because I'll go on her gram and find a mutual person. I'm saying the world changes. So for instance, I could see somebody I've never spoken to start dating you, see that one person I've never spoken to since I was 8 years old, but we know each other. So we following each other. I'm like, yo, how you know Shay? Shay was outside when we
Why
was
you gotta
young.
use my name? Don't do that.
Okay, Christine. Okay? I didn't say you was outside. It was a hypothetical
I'm
situation.
not.
Right? Because they're going to kill you in the comments. I
You know. I'm like, why you gotta
You're
use my name?
I knew she was outside.
No, guys.
That's how they be. But look, okay, Christine was outside when we were younger. I look on her Facebook. We have one mutual friend. It's Tyrone. You know what I'm saying? So you ask Tyrone, how do you know Christine? Christine was in traffic. But again, the men don't talk. Men, you should see how men, remember, I owned a barbershop for 20 years. Men talk
Right.
raw around men. Raw. I mean, yo, I'm cutting hair once, and they'll tell you, like, yo, look at this picture. I'm like, what's that? A girl you've never seen, like, she is nasty. And the next week, she comes up as your Facebook suggestions. Yo,
Y'all stupid.
look what
I
look what I
can't.
just said to you. You see the person, you've never seen this person in your life. Never. And then you look on, the person will show you like, yo, look, she a freak. And I'm like, damn, she cute though. Yo, she a freak, she from such and such. I'm like, that's crazy. Fast forward, it comes up on your Facebook suggestions. It's like, yo, where you come from? Look, so immediately thought about the barbershop talk. That's why I tell women, men don't talk how we talk around the line. Most men don't do that. It's like, I'm like that. Most men aren't like that. They're
Like
very
what?
censored.
They don't do what?
They're censored when they talk to women. And they've been trained like that, right? And it's okay because that's just our
But
culture.
women are too. When
No,
we
I
get
think
in the
more
hair
women are more
salons,
blunt.
sometimes we get blunt in the hair salons and we talk our ish. So the barbershop for y'all is the hair salons for us. What's the difference? Same thing.
Somebody said Mark Zuckerberg is listening.
We be over here talking our ish too.
I like that.
We talk our ish
That's
too.
funny. No, but look, the reality is when you're dealing with humans, a lot of times people act like something isn't true that is true. Right? And I tell people all the time, like, yo, just be mindful.
You
That's
see what
telling me
Abby
that.
said? The
What is it?
barbershop
Black
by
person?
me, the guy told me men be lying as well.
I agree. Some dudes automatically over-exaggerate their sexual encounters and experiences.
Have you ever had to call anybody out in the barbershop
Hell
because
yeah.
you knew they were lying?
You know what I mean? Do that, but you a whole virgin. You a whole, you ever see that movie 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yes.
He said her breast felt like a bag of sand. Like, come on, you can tell the virgins.
I
You a
can't stand
virgin. He said, I
can't.
get it now. He said, what? He's a virgin. You can tell.
Oh my God.
You can tell. You can tell virgins. I can tell a mile away. A mile away. A mile
Can I ask you
away.
something? Why are some men okay?
Look, don't talk. I just cut
Wait,
and laugh.
why are some men okay if they homeboy claps something that they clap, but a woman wouldn't be okay with that? Like if one of my friends slept with someone that I slept with, I'm mad. Like we're not friends no more. So how come with men it's like, do you?
A man is like, yo, that's just a lay in a lay. But reality is, I think it's easier for a man to get up from a sexual encounter and act like the experience never happened. I think it's harder because y'all are emotional creatures. So in most cases, most women don't have that ability to just wipe away a sexual encounter. That's why I tell you all the time, women have to be more mindful of who they sleep with because they leave a stain.
True.
Every man leaves a stain with her. So sometimes when you arguing with Crystal, you're not arguing with Crystal. She arguing with Tyrone, her ex. She arguing with James. So now you the new guy like, yo, why is she this crazy? I'm like, because all of those guys that she experienced, she's bringing that energy with her.
That's
yo,
true.
you there? And let me guess, you're gonna leave me? I'm like, whoa. We just started
true.
talking.
That's true.
I don't even know you. But again, that's why I tell women, have a level of discernment when stepping out because y'all take on that trauma every time y'all have a list. One of the ladies said this to me. I want to say this to you. She said to me, you ever heard the thing soul ties? Mm-hmm. She said soul ties is men and women when they sleep with. I said, that's not true. Mm-hmm. I said, women have soul ties when they sleep with a man. Men have soul ties when we date a woman.
Okay.
So, like, because reality is men have the ability to forget a sexual encounter. I don't think most women have that ability. There are some women have evolved, right? They've evolved to the point where they can do that, where they can completely forget a sexual encounter, get up like it never happened. But you better believe that woman has so much trauma attached to her. That's why she's gotten like that. But that's not her natural order of a woman, right? Most women, when they sleep with you, they want to be with you. Would you agree? Good girls.
Yes, good
The
girls. I
hoes,
was
they
going to
can sleep
say,
with-
good
they
girls.
can sleep with whoever they want.
Good girl. Let's
like, I'm good. I'm good. And a lot of times, it be
Good
fake.
girls.
Because a lot of them girls that, like, you know, the mushiest girls I've ever met, you know the nicest girls, the toughest girls, they're the most mushiest joints you'll ever can meet. They mushy. It's a defense mechanism. Because I don't care about it. She's lying. Lying. Yo, you remember that girl said to me, I don't care, no, I gave her a hug. She melted. She melted. She need a hug from a real man.
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism.
Sometimes you see those girls that's angry, give them a hug, bro. I'm not being funny. She needs some love, bro. Because she probably had to be tough so long that she don't know how to be soft, bro. She's been tough and had to survive and I've been going through this.
Okay.
Give her a hug.
So you said a lot of women we have sexual encounters and we carry that. But a lot of men, okay, now you said in relationships, why do some of y'all get so crazy? Why some of y'all can't let go? When it's over, it's over.
She fired. God damn.
That's the only reason?
Gotta be.
Because of joyful. Why
No,
some of y'all?
he might be-
Listen,
he
I'm
might
not
be- he
talking
might
about
be- there might be an
marriages.
emotional
I'm not
connection.
talking about me, guys. Take me out. I'm talking about why is it that some men can't let go, even in relationships when it's over. A woman says it's over, and they just cannot let go. Like leave that girl alone.
I'll be honest with you. Sometimes, you know, abandonment is real, right? That's actually a whole study theory of abandonment. So let's say hypothetically your dad left you, hypothetically, or your mom left you.
For a man, you're talking about.
It could both. That means they become so attached to the idea.
A codependency.
Yes. And it could go male or female. I've seen it. And there was a young man I had to speak to and tell him that, yo, you suffer from mommy or daddy issues or abandonment issues. Those are three major components that any human that's on a journey to becoming better, go look into mommy issues, go look into daddy issues, and also go look into abandonment issues. Sometimes you ever see a woman that cannot leave a man that does absolutely nothing for him, but he's abusing her, or he's taking advantage of her, cheating all on her, but she can't leave him? That's a trauma in itself. And if she can't see that, or he can't see that, there's a problem. But again, that person thinks that no matter what this person say to them, no matter what they do, they're going to stay with that person.
Just so you know, my question to you, though, was about men. You answered about women before. My question to you was just...
like that.
No, but my question was about men who just can't leave women alone when it's over.
I think,
specifically to
but
men.
I went into the mommy
to,
issues, the daddy issues, because one of the number one things of all those three is they don't like to be left. They don't like, because they feel like they're losing something. So they don't like being alone. So they become emotionally attached. You ever met somebody within a day or so, they already act like y'all been together 20 years? That's an issue within itself.
Someone said when a man loves you, he loves hard, and I think men love harder than women in relationships. You think so? I don't think
we
all
love
the
conditional. I
time.
think men love conditional. I mean unconditional.
Men love unconditional,
Unconditional.
and
I love
women love
conditional.
conditionally.
Yes.
What do you think are the conditions of a woman?
I think they could have finances, money,
That's the only condition you
providing,
think?
protecting, and security. I think those three things are major.
Do you think those are fair, though?
I think as a woman, she has a right to it, but it's also a level of discernment of what we consider is provision. I think some women are delusional what provision is. I think they exaggerate and exacerbate what they feel as provision.
Elaborate.
They feel like having 5-6 vacations a year is crazy. Going out to eat every weekend is crazy.
But your average woman does not have that expectation,
I
Q.
think you don't.
No, your average woman on this live, ladies,
I think
how
they don't-
many of you on this live have an expectation for your man to
wait.
take you on a vacation 5 times a year?
No,
Come on, ladies.
I'm exaggerating.
Come on, ladies.
I'm exaggerating. What I'm just saying is, most cases, most women want to be out. But look at this. Most women want to be out, Shay. And they want to be out on the expense of another man. They do not want to be out on their expense. This is why club owners like me realize we let ladies in for free. Because where the ball is at, it's just what it is, Shay. Reality, a lot of times, most women want to be out on somebody else's dime. You have women who travel with absolutely no money because they expect the men to take care of them on their vacation. New strangers. And you know that's true.
You said new strangers.
Yo, you literally about to take a whole trip with no chicken, but you thinking that somebody's supposed to look out for you while you're on vacation. That's crazy, Shay.
I think those are women with expectations, not your average
That's
woman.
most, Shay.
Not the women on the live,
That's
not
most,
most
Shay.
of these women on here, not women in general. I don't.
Well, you know what
I
Shay
think
don't know?
those are women who are really looking for someone to
Watch.
provide. Your average woman is not looking for that. What you mean you
That's
watch?
majority. You want me to tell you what?
Tell me.
Most women don't even think they're average.
So guys
You heard that?
on here who
Most women
have
don't think they're average,
who
Shay?
have a woman or don't have a woman, and you've been on vacation, the woman has always expected you to provide
I wouldn't have said
and expected you to
definitely, I
pay
agree
for
with you.
everything. Let's
Most
just
women
say
don't
that.
like Yeah, why do you see videos of women talking about some cash at me money to talk to me? You see these videos so
But those
much.
are different type of women,
Shay, it's
Q.
a
That's not
lot of
your
them that think
average
like that.
woman. Your
It's-
average
Shay,
woman ain't
it's-
talking about some
Shay.
cash at me to talk to me.
Y'all got a record that's a hit called Spin That.
Not y'all. I
Who
don't
you
think I didn't
who
make that
you think
record.
bump spin that
I
more?
still listen to Whitney
Shay,
Houston.
Who do you think bump
Ew.
spin that more, girls or guys? I'ma wait.
I've never heard the full record.
That's like asking me who bumped MWA more, male or female. More men. We already know who bumped and spin that. Shay, that record ain't the #1 record for no reason.
Somebody said women ask for money before the first date.
A lot of times,
That's crazy.
Gene, you true.
What kind of women are y'all dating? What kind
It's
of
not
women
dating
are out
shit.
there
There's
now?
a lot of women that like that.
Asking for money before the first date?
Somebody
Have
asked
I
that
ever
question?
spent money on guys? I have. Let me tell y'all something. First of all, I spoil. Okay,
Somebody right,
spoil.
but the millennials,
Man,
it is a lot of millennials.
Period. You could tell Shay don't be outside. Maybe I'm delusional.
You are.
Sometimes I tell Q
Say it
he
again.
may need
Wait, no,
another
one more time,
person
please.
next to him.
No, I think
because
you're perfect.
sometimes I really
You're
feel like
perfect.
I'm so
Hello.
maybe I'm
Hello.
just so
Hello.
delusional and so
Hello.
out of the loop
Hello.
that I'm
Hold
just
on.
like, is that
Hold on.
really what's going on?
You're actually perfect for this podcast.
I don't think so.
Shay,
Someone
can I
said
finish my
before
point
that
for a
you need a
second?
grandma on here because I don't be hitting. Because sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm just crazy and I don't know what's going on because I've never met a woman that never went on a
Don't
date
listen
with a
to
guy and she over here talking about some cash at me.
It's a lot of them like that.
Like cash at me before you go out with somebody?
You know what it is though? You know what
That
it is?
sounds crazy to me.
You're gonna learn.
Guys, am I under a rock?
You
Be
know-
honest. Tell
yo,
me if I'm living under a
my
rock.
sister gonna learn it.
Tell me if I'm living under a rock, guys. I may be
Look,
living under a rock.
give it up for my
Somebody
guy,
said your
Chance.
innocence is refreshed.
Right, give it up, my guy Chase. He just turned
Crazy.
13. Her son just turned
Crazy.
13, guys. He on his way to the dating world, and he gonna tell her some horrible stories, guys. He gonna tell her
Cash
some
app
stuff.
you before you go on a
You
date
gonna
with a
see.
guy?
You got high school kids that the women expect to give them a Birkin bag or Louis Vuitton bag or Gucci for a freaking birthday gift. These girls are crazy. I promise you, most girls today believe my respect comes from how much money you spend on
That
me.
guy said some women ask for babysitter money before the date. So
He
she
not
wants you to
lying.
pay to babysit her child for
Why we
y'all
all
to go on a
saying this?
date?
Why we all saying this?
That is crazy to me. But why do y'all go? So why do y'all go for women like
They
that?
don't go for 'em.
Why are you guys okay with that? Because I guarantee you, whoever said that, did you pay for the
Yo, you wanna
babysitter
laugh?
money?
Y'all want to laugh right now?
Did you do that?
Can
I
make
can't
you
believe it
laugh?
because it's crazy.
Can I make you laugh?
What?
You ever heard a woman say she has a roster?
Like a roster of men?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a roster of women. I mean, that woman that has a roster of men is a roster of men she don't want. A man could have a roster of women he wants.
Right.
That's the crazy part. And if you tell a woman that she's going, I disagree, I'm like, you lying to yourself. Most women that say they have a roster is a bunch of men she don't want. Because if that man came along that she really want, that roster disappears instantly. I promise you.
But can I ask you this? Why are there some men out there that are sitting? There are some men out there that are doing that. If a woman, you've never been on a date with a woman and she tells you to cash app her money for a babysitter or cash app her money to do her hair and nails, why are you doing that? There are men that are doing that.
He met her and
why
found
are,
her like, this is crazy.
But some men still send it. Why are you doing that? I'm asking my men
There you
now.
go.
Guys,
Read
why
that.
are
What they
you
said, they
doing
what?
that? Somebody said they're Sims.
It's the truth.
Why are you doing that?
It's the
Like,
truth.
you don't know this woman from a hole in the wall or a can of paint, and you out here sending her money. You don't even know if you're gonna like her. Just to go on a date with her, you gotta pay for a babysitter.
Yo.
I saw something where the girl went out on a first date with a guy, and she was ordering meals for her kids and was mad that he didn't want to pay for the meals for her kids. I thought that was crazy. I saw one where the guy went on a first date to Cheesecake Factory, and she was shaming him.
Have you ever seen a man do that?
Like, how dare you?
Have you ever seen a man
I
do
feel
that?
like if
Have you ever
I've
seen-
never met, if I'm going on
Shay,
a date, guys.
Have you ever seen a man do that?
Just saying, guys, I'm about to be newly single, so if anybody wants to take me out, ew. I'm just saying,
That-
if you are going to take me out to Cheesecake Factory, why is that so bad? Why would I be mad at a guy for taking me out to
Because you
Cheesecake
know why?
Factory? He doesn't know
'Cause
me.
you know
He
why,
don't
Shay?
know me.
Shay
So of course, that's okay. A
respects
date for me.
the value of hard work. Shay respects the value of money. The people that don't, they always think they're broke. Most women are broke because they think they haven't found the right man, Shay. I'm being honest with you. Most women are broke because they think they haven't found the right man. I promise you. They think it's their brokenness. It comes with the lack of attachment to the right man. I promise you. They haven't worked on themselves. They're looking for a man that's going to give them the lifestyle they can't get themselves. That's most women. Most men are not looking for women and they think they broke because of a woman. They know they broke because
But
of
you got to
themselves.
answer this one too. Amanda D
Read that
said,
out.
how do you feel about a woman who
That's out, read it.
consistently sends money and buys a man things within a week? Because some women are like that too.
Amanda might be doing it, and Amanda, respectfully, you might be a little insecure. You're trying to buy love too. But again, Amanda, let's look at the background. If not you, let's look at the background of the person. That person could have been hurt a lot. So they just looking for love. But again, that's where self-love comes into the reflection of how you act in the dating world. The things you tolerate, the things you're doing is because of the lack of self-love. So reality is why that person could be doing that is because that person might have issues, and that's nothing to diss and laugh at. That person genuinely might have some issues which look desperate for love. It's reality. And the same with a guy. When a guy really spending all his money and wasting all his resources to the point when he's going broke, because the difference is tricking is another level of he just got it like that. And most of them are tricking because they don't got it like that. So reality is you doing more than you possibly could do. A girl looked at me, I remember one time a girl said to me, she said, you can't afford me. And I said, I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I wouldn't. And I high five you. I just literally dodged a bullet.
Yeah, because that's
Hey,
crazy.
get out of here. But again, it's people.
God's base. Someone said before, women like me suffer because we don't ask. I just can't see myself asking a man for money. I can't see myself asking a man to pay for anything. I've never done it. I've never ever asked a man unless it wasn't until I got in my marriage where it was like, well, you need to do this, I need to do that. I've never literally asked a man like, can you do my hair? Can you do my nails? Can you send me some? It feels weird even saying that. I don't even know how to say to a man, can you pay for my hair?
You know,
pay for my nails? I would feel so weird.
I'm
But I've had
scared of-
girlfriends that
it's
said,
that
you
baddie
need to be
culture, though.
asking, you need to be
You ever
this,
heard
you
that?
need to this. That's just weird to me. I can't
you
do
ever heard
that.
that?
The baddie culture? I mean, listen, I'm not a baddie, so I don't know. But I just can't do it.
That's the new world where you're dealing with this baddie
I can't
culture.
do it.
The baddie culture. Yo, look at this. Shay, would you say there's not a lot of good men out here?
Would I say there's not a lot of good men out
Yeah.
here? There's some great men out
No,
here.
no, what
And
I'm
there's
saying-
some not so good men.
Are there a lot of good men or a lot of bad men, you think?
I can't answer that question fair.
You think? It's an
I
opinion.
think there are a lot of good men.
I think there aren't.
I think there are a lot of good men out here.
There's a lot of bad men out here.
I think men get a lot of crappy end of the stick.
I think
And
a lot of bad men because they don't have examples of what a good man is.
I think if they don't have it put together, Scorpio said, take me on a date. I got you. Where you want to go? I'll take you on a date. I'll take you on a date. I've done that. I've paid for a first date. I did that one time. I asked a guy out on a
Look,
date.
Alan said
and I
not
paid
bad,
for
not
it.
gonna lie.
I
It's a
did.
lot- it's a lot of
and I
bad
paid
guys
for
there.
it. And he allowed me to. He lived in Madagascar in projects in Brooklyn.
Look, somebody
I didn't
said,
feel
look,
weird because I had it. So it didn't
somebody
bother
said-
me.
There's a lot of bad men out here and some good men. But
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely believe that there's a lot of unhealed men. Like somebody just said, love men.
Unhealed.
I think there's a lot of unhealed men because I think men been taught for generations not to speak on their traumas.
Yeah.
They've been taught not to speak up, not to say anything. And I think when a man, in most cases, vocalize what he's been through, he's looked at as sassy. I think even when you tell a woman about herself, you consider sassy nowadays, which is crazy. I said I can't have no feelings, which is crazy. You're sassy because you have feelings, and I see that every single day. You're sassy. I'm like, sassy? He has feelings. He has an opinion. He's feeling what he's feeling. Like, where did y'all get that from?
I don't think it's sassy. I think a lot of men don't know how to hold their composure. I think a lot of men lead with the I'm a man, but when they're put in situations where they need to, I don't want to say prove your manhood, but show where they're faced with that, they show that they're not men because they don't have the emotional intelligence and they don't have it to really walk away from certain situations. We were in a situation last week. I'm not going to call any names or speak on it. We were in a situation last week where we had a nice show. We're not going through all of that. We had a situation where one of the guys from our team got into it with a woman that was in the audience, Okay.
Good. So where the sound goes?
Are we good now?
Hear,
Not him trying to pause it because he don't want to say the name, but they don't want me to hear.
Yeah, you said
Is it good now?
Good.
So last week we had the live guys, and one of the guys from our team, there was, again, people were in the audience, so they were able to, give their, thoughts or whatever, ask questions. You had one person, she had a thought.
An
opinion. She had an opinion. I didn't initially see what was happening. When I walked over, I saw a girlfriend and a guy friend in a heated argument. I felt as though my expectation in that moment was for the guy to say, listen, I'm not doing this. You have your opinion. You're a guest on the show. You can feel how you feel. I'm going to walk away. Why? Because I felt like he could have maintained a little bit more professionalism in that situation to have that, again, that discernment to say, you know what? I respect how you feel. I'm not going to engage. Have a good night and just walk away. Just because the responsibility on him, I felt like it just was a little bit greater. This is somebody, you don't know if you're going to ever see her again. We're going to be doing these shows all the time. So you're going to have people, to me, people are always going to disagree with you. I'm okay with that. An opinion is so everyone has one. We know that. I just felt like in that moment, you could have walked. Now, am I agreeing with her? No. Am I saying she was right? No. I'm saying that you could have had more emotional maturity as a man, as someone who's always said, listen, I'm a grown man, to show that you are a grown man in that situation and say, you know what? I'm not engaging in this right now. Respectfully, I get what you're saying. I respect what you're saying. I hope you enjoyed the show. Have a good evening. I felt like that situation escalated.
How did I handle the situation?
You de-escalated the situation, but I feel like in that situation, my brother, my friend, who got so upset, he does this thing on more than one occasion when he gets mad. Well, Shay, and you don't got to be a part of the show then. And I feel like me and him get into it because I'm like, why is it that that's why I say, why do men always have to get so deep into their feelings where they get in so
So let me ask you a question. If we get into a heated exchange where it's me and you, would I go that far?
You've never gone that far.
No, that's not. So if I've never done it, then
You've never gone that far. But I don't know how far you'll ever go. You've never gone that far. No, but I'm just saying, if
I've never done something, you got to judge me based on what I've done. You can't judge me based on what I haven't done, because I can say you're a freak, or you are HOE, I can say all these things, but I don't think you've ever done those things. So therefore, I can't judge you based on what I don't think you are. Based on what I've referenced your character is what I've seen and what I know about you. Have I ever done those things?
No.
Do you see me doing those things?
No.
Because again, self-control is a part of manhood. It's one of the main components of manhood, because you can't lead if you can't use your brain. You have to be able to outthink every solution and every problem. Okay.
So, since we saying it on live, it was Tyler, guys. So we're gonna say
you called your own name.
No, but I'd rather do that. We might as well
accountability is a hell of a trick for a good man.
Say as a man, I apologize, and I know we can do better as communicating in the future, and communication will be better in the future. And like I said, we move forward.
We act like we married. We do,
and we just we move forward. And I know we love each other.
Tyler, the difference between me and you is I love you so much because I look at you as like you're young, you're ambitious, and I watch that drive. But I do see that sometimes when we get into these stuff where you say I'm grown, but then we get in it, I'm like, but your emotions kick it. But listen,
and that's where she be right. When she said that, she be right.
But I am also not
understanding
here
that as a man, and
but I'm not here to tell you.
And she's right.
But listen, I'm also not here to tell you that when you're disrespected, you shouldn't defend yourself. I'm not here to tell a man that if someone disrespects him, that he shouldn't stand up for himself. But I think that situation escalated. I looked at you as the person to walk away because of what I've seen of you. The man that I've seen of you is like, okay, well, I expected Tyler to be like, yo, I'm off this. Like, I'm not going to engage in this, you know? Because we had a live show, guys.
But
People
can I be
don't
honest
agree with
with
us
you?
all the time.
I'm gonna be 100% honest, Shay. Anytime a woman is in her feelings and a man gets to that level, she don't see him as a man, she see him as a girl. She doesn't see him as a man.
I didn't see him as a girl.
No, not you. No, what I'm saying is, naturally, when a man goes to the level of a woman, he's automatically seen as a woman.
Yeah.
100%. You will bother a woman's spirit more when you have self-control. I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, I promise you, man, if y'all don't understand, not engaging in her energy.
It's like checking her. Because now she knows how to fall back. Because you could have went hard, but you didn't.
Did it.
And that's, guys, when I tell y'all, I talk to Q every day. Like maybe once we skip a day of talking. But I'll come at him for something he did. So today, Q calls me, right?
Don't match a woman's energy.
Q calls me today.
Just laugh when she get
mad. And we
mad.
got into a little thing yesterday where I'm like, oh, well, people be saying you talk over me and I talk over you. We kind of go back and forth with it, right?
Tell what you doing. Okay, go ahead. We good now, guys? We good?
Are we good?
Are we good?
Audio.
We good? Oh, man.
We good now? Okay, they say yes.
Go ahead.
So we got into a little debate yesterday where I was telling him, you be talking over me and I be talking over you, and this one says this and this one says that. She says she talks to you. Hey, I do talk to him pretty much every day. That's my brother. So he calls me today. We were talking. I'm like, whatever, I'll go watch the podcast. So he calls me today and I'm like, well, I didn't like what you said or whatever. And I just feel like, and he goes, I'm calling you as a man, as a brother, as a friend, and I apologize. I was like, yeah, but why did you? He said, I apologize. And so as much as I wanted to go hard, all he simply said was, I apologize. This could go left, but you know what? I apologize. I respect you. You're my sister. If these are your feelings, they're legit. We don't need to go no further. That just shut me up. There was nothing else to be said. When you're engaging in the argument though with a woman, and I don't think you this, so now we're just going on and on and on and on and on. And now I'm looking at you weird, like.
But watch this though. So I simply said to Miss Shay, we did a live episode the other day, right? And when we did this episode, I said, Shay, sometimes my voice is very strong. And the moment I do something,
sometimes
it can come across more aggressive. I said, but Shay, if you go sit back and watch the episode, you will see that you cut me off a lot. It's subtle. It's not as extreme. And I make a joke of it every time you do it. So I know she didn't want to tell me, Q, you were right. I know.
I didn't even watch it.
Okay.
I didn't finish watching it.
But I said, just watch the first 30 minutes. I said, if you watch the first 30 minutes, you'll see you cut me off all the time because it might be something I'm saying that might be a little triggering. And you might say something like, but I feel, and I'm like right in the middle of it, or you read a comment. I'm like, okay. But again, I was just raising her awareness to something. I said, Shay, sometimes you do it a lot. I don't say anything. And then when we get to the meat and potatoes where I start cooking and I start like, you know what, now I'm gonna give you some of that energy back, right? It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, right? And I say to her, I give her a little bit of taste of her own medicine because one thing this podcast is about, guys, is growing. I learn from her, she learns from me. I learn from Tyler, I learn from Dre, I learn from all my guys in the room where this whole concept is about growing. Sometimes you guys say some great things in the comments that we actually was like, wow, that was a dope perspective that somebody might have said. So again, it's not about our feelings, it's about our logic. And I've learned how to literally live in my logic opposed to my feelings. And I say, you know what, what I care about in this debate is how do we move forward?
Right.
And I say, I don't care about the problem because without a solution, we're going to continue to have a problem. So let's get to the solution. Right. We know what the problem is. The problem is this. Okay, how do we get to the solution? Let's leave our egos and everything here where the problem started because of our ego, right? Now, let's, as a two adults, civilized, let's have a discussion without, and if we have to agree to disagree at the end of it, so what, respectfully. High five it. So what are you doing tonight? That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
that's maturity. A lot of people haven't gotten to that level because people more so care about being right.
But we're over. I feel like at the end of the day, Tyler took accountability. And someone said that he's younger. I do feel like Tyler is younger, but I feel like he's super mature. So that's maybe why my expectation for him was
told you his age
different.
gonna come out a
Because
lot,
he's
though.
but he's very, very mature for his age
He
in a
is.
lot of sense. So I feel like
He around cute
sometimes I
every
look at
day.
him like, Tyler, why did you do that? But you know what? We spoke later on that night.
That's a
We
major
all
component of that. She
Yeah, we
respects
all
you.
apologized. And
That's
he said,
major.
listen, I realized what I did and this is what, so it was over it, you know?
100%.
But in the moment, I was like, what is going on? We yelling, we just
I
had
was
a
shocked.
lie.
Listen,
I was
love you,
shocked. He
Shay.
said to me, I was waiting for you to call me. I said, me? Call you? Shay, what did I do wrong?
No, I
said, no, let me finish. I said, Shay was between a rock and a hard place. She has a female friend who's emotional. She has a male friend who she's expecting
Who's emotional.
Who's emotional. So she's expecting this man to walk away from it because it wasn't gonna go nowhere. So I said I understood Shay's stance because again, Shay was just trying to come to a conclusion like, let's get this thing done. It's not that serious. She don't want to hurt a person, her friends. I don't want to lose my friend for this dumb
No,
conversation.
but they're both my friends.
But no, I'm just
someone I
saying,
work with
she
and
was
someone
more
I work
emotional,
with, they're
though.
both my friends. I didn't
shouldn't
look.
have been less
That
emotional.
situation was just to
Being
me.
fair.
I
Agreed.
just didn't know what to say. I was like, guys,
I
like,
saw it. You
I
was
just
stumped.
I was just stuck in
I saw it.
because Tyler's like, you gonna let her say
Yo,
that,
you
and
ever- what
she's
they
like,
say-
you gonna
what's
let
that-
him say that. I'm
what's
like,
it, the
I don't
deer
want
in
to be a
the
part
headlight?
of this. I
That
don't
when
want
I
to be a
said
part of
something,
this.
they attacked me.
I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. It's
you
too much.
and
It's
the
too
girl
much.
got mad at me when I said
Yo,
both of y'all
it
wrong.
was too
'Cause it's not
much.
that
It was
serious.
too much.
You're
But we
right,
got
guys.
over
I
it,
said,
guys,
Lord
and it's
have
all
mercy.
love.
And the cold thing, I should have, but I guess it's just a maturity thing. Just learning through
100%
situations.
takes
like-
time.
Tyler's a Virgo. He's stubborn. Us
Takes
Virgos
time.
are very stubborn. So when we wrong, it's so hard. Now we're gonna bring in the signs like we that immature, right? But we are. Virgos,
You
when we
are.
wrong, it's hard to just say we're wrong. We just need to be.
Listen,
100%.
guys. Listen, guys. I
This
was
needs to be
wrong,
right.
and it is what it is. I
But
was wrong.
we got
move
over
forward
it.
and we
So
grow.
guys, today's episode has been dope. Where we at? Tell us.
we've been. Oh my
Yes,
God, we've been
yes.
talking forever. Y'all talk
So
too much.
guys, listen. Each and every Sunday we do this thing called Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. Tune in, share the lives, tell a friend to tell a friend. You got Tashay Jones, you got Q the Boss. You got anything you want to say before we get out of here today?
Why you gotta call my whole name out? It's just
Tashay
Shay.
Jones. I like Tashay Jones.
Okay, Quinton.
I don't care. Why would you get upset? It's all on my social media. Yes.
Shay. Dre, be quiet.
Each and every Sunday we go live between the hours of 3, knowing Shay 4, 3, 4. But if you want to keep up with the content, we drop every single week.
South
There's
Africa.
content where you can watch on our social media platform on YouTube. It's called Empowered Dynasty. Good looking, Jashad.
Yes, big up to my Jamaicans. Ew.
Good shot.
I
Appreciate
don't
it.
like the word cute. Cute is for monkeys.
Cute?
Cute. When people say people cute, monkeys are cute. It's cute as a monkey.
Nah. A man saying you're cute is good. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a good thing.
Says, please be careful and don't
Nothing
take
wrong with
any
that.
threat lightly. Make a report. Who is that?
I have no idea.
Sweater threat.
I wouldn't even have read that. It's weird.
Right? I was like, what's who?
That was weird.
Who's threatening
That's
who on
a
here?
dun dun dun. Right?
What's happening? Shout out to whoever's watching us from South Africa.
Appreciate you.
Love the show. Thank you.
What you got, Shay? What you want to say before we get out of here today?
Nothing, guys. I mean, just keep coming on, tuning in for good conversation. I love that you guys, we see some of the same names in here every single week, and you guys are
100%.
on. We've been on for like almost 2.5 hours. You guys have been on with us. So shout out to you guys for your support, taking time out of your day, to just come on here and listen to us. And we're just trying to just have good conversation, and hopefully we could change the culture, change relationships. And yeah, guys, we love you guys.
Listen, guys, for those who want to keep up with the content is on YouTube if you want to see the visuals. But if you want to listen to it audio-wise, it's called Don't Let That Go Over Your Head. It's on every major streaming server. Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. But if you want to see it visually, it's called Empowered Dynasty on YouTube rather. Empowered Dynasty. Tashay Jones on
Instagram.
Q the Boss on Instagram, QDABOSS, right? I appreciate that. Let's get it, guys. I appreciate it, 2007 PI. But guys, I want to say this before we get out of here today. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Our intentions are not to hurt people, but our intentions is to raise awareness to people who may have never been taught or shown certain things. So we're going to have these uncomfortable conversations, but our goal is not to hurt anybody. But sometimes the truth hurts. So guess what we got to do? We got to wear it. Till next time, guys, don't let that go over your head.